Hello, hello. Hi, hi. Nice to see you. Some of you for the first time today, and some of you for the second time today. All right, let me join with my other computer. Okay, and there we go. Let people in. Head over to the chat, everyone, please, and give me a little hey ho. Oh, I got it. I'm sorry to hear that, Molly, but that's great. Thank you. Okay, I'm letting everyone in. Everyone, please change their names, or Bob, can you add your last name to that, please? Not change your names, just add. Um, there we go. Let me change Lynn's. I'm gonna change that to Sam. Okay, here we go. Oh, let more people in. All right. Welcome, welcome. You guys had homework? So start writing the results of your homework if you have anything. And if you want to share, raise your hand and tell me. And if you don't remember the homework, oh, Mason, today I'm using a MacBook, not a PC. Oh, so you have a Mac that's connected
Yeah,
with
my
your,
husband got the new MacBook. So
oh, and you have it set up with your iCloud account or your husband's or both?
he doesn't want me to use the iCloud. So sorry.
Okay, tell him to take the Mac class before he says that.
Yeah,
Okay,
he
because that I don't get that.
yeah,
Anyway.
he worry about people were hacking all the data. So
Oh,
it's so,
just so you know, and I don't disagree that that's a concern, but that's not a, I don't want to call it logical. That sounds like I'm saying something bad about your husband, but that what's no, I mean, I'm trying to say who is going to get hacked. Just now, I got a letter that my mom made a payment. I don't know, 8 years ago, tons of years ago, when she was here. My mom lives in Argentina. She bought a ticket. We went to the Pantages Theater in LA, and she bought a ticket using her credit card. We went to see um, something, the witch one. I can't remember the name. Anyway, yesterday I got a letter saying that they had been hacked and warning us that my mom's card's information went out and whatever. Since it's such an old card that it doesn't matter, I just threw it away. That's who gets hacked. And that's where
hmm,
they get your information.
hmm,
Companies, people, you yourself, unless you are like a really important person, and I'm not going to say you'll never get hacked, but I have only heard of one person and to tell me whose friend had been hacked. And again, was she hacked? Was a company hacked? I don't know. She was telling me,
hmm.
but otherwise, on a personal level, we don't get hacked. We're not worth anyone's time. We're not worth
I,
anyone's time and money. You know what I mean? Anyway, what you do need to work about is the privacy of your situation. And that I'd say, and I was talking about this morning in the Mac class, Apple, no one's perfect, right? But Apple is the one company, and today I showed a lot of privacy settings in my morning class. Apple's the one company that allows you the most privacy. And if ever you do something that'll divulge your message to someone, it gives you the option to say yes or no. So it's really careful about your privacy versus if and tell us if he uses Google, if he has a Gmail, if he uses Chrome on a Windows, that's what people use Chrome on a Windows because the PC browser is so bad. Oh my God, that is crazy. They follow you. They can track where you walk, what you talk, what you do. So actually, if you want privacy as your
Mhm,
concern, use your Mac, a cloud account, and not your Google account. Anyway, this is
mm,
just to say, you guys, again, I'm not going to go through the whole privacy conversations here, but just so you know, because when the moment someone says that, the rest of you go, oh, I wasn't thinking about that, right? And I just want you to know that using the cloud or not using the cloud has no difference than as far as privacy. Then it's like saying, I don't use my credit card. I'm a cash person. I pay with cash. That's fine. I had a student once who wanted to know about stuff, but she was a cash person who didn't have computers, didn't do anything, but she was attending my computer classes in person because she wanted to see what this was all about, right? Because I thought it was a good idea. You've decided you're a person who only does cash and doesn't do social media, doesn't do everything, but you need to know about it enough. Well, so she attended a class that way. I respect that. But unless you are going to live your world paying cash to every single person, which was her choice, and not have emails and not have everyone, then just the fact that you use your credit card at Albertsons to pay for milk, everyone in the world knows that you're not dairy free. Anyone who wants to check knows what you purchased, right?
Mm.
So it's a myth to think that any of your information is at this point at all hidden. So if the concern is hacking, then that is a different conversation, right? But anyway, we can talk more about the cloud. Again, take my Mac classes if you have a Mac now, and tell him to take the Mac classes, because a lot of people, it's a logical thought to be worried. But in this case, if you don't use the cloud for your phone, at least, and you do have a phone, then if you lose your phone, you lose everything. So the cloud is the necessary way to save all the stuff that's on your phone. Can you imagine entering your
Yeah,
200 or
personal.
2000 contacts again,
Mm.
or losing all the photos you took, right? So I'm just saying
It's hard for
it
me to persuade him.
but I don't, you need to persuade him. Have him take my classes and let me explain. And I'm not trying to persuade anyone.
Yeah.
Once I explain it, then I'm happy for people to choose one way or the other. But a lot of times it's that explanation. And there's people here in my classes who have never connected to the cloud, and others who have, even after all the explanation. And I don't disagree with that. I just don't want it to be an uninformed decision. Got it?
So when you're
Um,
gonna have the Mac class, because he need to learn how to set up the MacBook. He
yeah.
hasn't quite set up yet.
Um, yeah.
Is that in
So
September?
in September, I'm looking at my schedule here. I need to uh I someone here knows them, right? Julie, oh, but Julie's not in this class. Someone here who always knows all my schedules. Um, I'll look them up in a minute. I'll send an email soon, but I always lag on
Okay.
that one.
It's
Um,
not start the register yet, right?
Oh, registration started a while ago, and I definitely
Oh,
need
really?
people to know.
Oh, okay.
You know what? Since you're saying that, let me share, because yes, guys, registration started a while ago, and we're way behind on registrations. So basically, go to SBCC edu, and then you can I'm gonna go to pipeline and get in. Oh, I need a code. 988-365-988-365. And then and then under student, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can go to class search,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can say for the fall of non-credit, and say select. And now I'm going to look for my name, Musakio, search. And here we go. Here are all my classes. So the Mac classes are going to be Monday to Wednesday from 1 to 4 p.m. Intro, Mac, they follow each other. So we start with intro. When that one ends, we go with level 1. When that one ends, we go with level 2. Okay. So there you go. And as you can see right now, I have one person set up, 4 people signed in, right? For that one, 3 for this one, 3 for that one. So definitely we need at least a minimum of 17 people for the classes to go. I'll send an email out, but yeah, if you know of anyone who needs any
But
of the
it's
classes.
don't have the date. Is it
Yeah, yeah,
date?
yeah. September 9th is
Okay.
when they start.
Okay. Uh-huh.
And then this one finishes 9:25, then the next one starts 9:30, and it finishes October 16th, and the next one starts October 21, November
Mm-hmm.
16th. So they follow each other. When this one ends, this one starts, this one starts. So basically starting September 9th, with Monday to Wednesday intro to the Mac, then it goes all the way through to November 16th.
So are you going to talk about how to set up the, like, just a brand new computer and how to set it up?
Yeah, intro to the Mac, we talk a lot about all of the operating system and setups and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Good,
Okay.
good. Okay.
But then how to keeps going. Right now I'm at Mac level 2 with people. And on all of this, I tell you also how to deal with phones and iPads but you don't need to set it up. The Macintosh setup, that's only for the computer, but
okay, good.
You
from
have
then
to
on.
go in person to the Wake Center?
So all these classes are in the fall are hybrid. What this means is that you can sit at home and take the class online, or you can come to the school. I am in the Wake Center teaching the people who are in person, and I have Zoom on over there instead of here, and I help people in person and online. So it's called a hybrid class, and that's why it has two different CRNs. But say that you sign up to come in person, and then you go, you know what, I'd rather do it online. You can switch. Or if you sign up to be online and they go, God, people in person are being helped, then you can come in person. It doesn't matter. It's indistinct, right?
There are computers there at the Wake Center?
Yeah, room 3 is our Mac lab.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you can come in person. And so all of these are right now, this is only online. But in during the school year, I've been teaching them in hybrid. Okay. So, and you can choose to sign up to one or the other, then switch. Some days people decide, on Tuesdays I want to go in person, on Wednesdays I can't, or whatever, Monday, Wednesday. So anyway, there you go. Those are my Mac classes. I don't have iLife in the spring. I will have it, sorry, in the fall, but I have it again in the spring. Okay. All right. So if you want any of these codes or whatever, I'm happy to give them to you, but if not, there we go. So that's
good to know. Thank you.
Take a screenshot of this if you need. So you know the CRNs, I can do a little screenshot of that, and then you'll know. Let me put the information a little bit small, then it gets too small. But then there it is, all in one thing. So if you do a screenshot like that, then we can send it that way.
Okay.
All right, stop my share. But now that I have that screenshot, in fact, when people ask me for area codes, I'll have them at the tip of my finger. Okay,
no iLife in the fall.
No iLife in the fall. It might be changing that right now. They just kind of roll over the stuff. And in the past, in the fall, I used to teach a lot of credit classes, which now got canceled. So now we should add more. We didn't, because a year ago we didn't know, because we scheduled a year earlier. We didn't know that this fall I wouldn't be teaching credit. So I'm teaching less classes, but for next fall, I'm going to add iLife to it, but it's not there now. And if there's space and time, and most people don't know what the name Living the iLife is, so they just don't sign up unless I tell them in my Math classes. So I might convince, in the past I could convince people to set up another class for me because I always fill them up. But now the school is in huge budget issues and people are not signing up. There's a lack of students coming in. So they're trying to actually reduce the amount of classes that are being offered and having more people in each one, because otherwise we lose money. So the school loses money, not but we lose money in that the classes can't. I told you my credit classes, which pay double of what when I teach a non-credit class, got canceled the last 2 sessions. So that's a lot of less because there weren't enough students. So yeah, it's a big deal. So please sign up if you're at all interested in these things. Don't wait until the last minute because they cancel them ahead of time. 10 days earlier, it's the amount of people they canceled them. So if you're interested or think you're interested, but not sure about the schedules, and in 2 days you're going to be gone, just sign up. It's okay. You know that everything is recorded and you'll be able to catch up. Don't just wait, because the signing up is the important part. It's free for you guys, but it makes our classes not cancel, right? So go for it. Sign up for stuff. It's free and it helps the class run. And then if there's a few days that you're going to be traveling, that's fine. Those days you can catch up with the recordings. Anyway, yes, Jill.
How long do we have access to the recordings? I've had a lot of disturbances. I need to catch up, and I know there's only a few more classes left. And
That's fine.
How will I be able to
I'll show you now, but just so you know, I've had so many requests the last few weeks for this, and I keep sending emails back. I actually sent an email to every single one of my students last week saying, so many people are asking me this. Here's the recording. So check my emails. If you check my emails, I say that. But anyway, let me share my screen and show you how to do this. So you'll go and sign into your pipeline account, which is kind of what we just did. You sign into your pipeline account. And then when you're in your pipeline account, you go to student resources. And then in student resources, you go over to the far right to Google Drive.
Oh, no, I know how to get there. I just wonder how long will they be available to watch?
Oh, I thought you said how to access them.
August, or can I?
Okay, good point. I see your question is different. I was like, how do you get there? Okay, how do you get there? This is important. I leave the links on until the next class comes. Since I'm not teaching in the fall, these links will be up until spring. If the class like was to start in the fall, I'll take these down and I'll start a clean one. But you can have this forever if you just download this page. The links don't disappear, just my page with the links disappears. I couldn't have links going down 5 years. So you can just download this right now. You can go over here and right click on this thing and download it. And then you access, it's going to download as a PDF. And as long as at home you open it up, you can click on these links forever and ever.
Okay.
I don't take these off, okay? But they'll also be actually here in this folder until the spring. Thing is, sometimes depending on what's happening with the download, I might, after class, close the access to this folder, but I should, but I technically don't. I pretty much keep the folder accessible to any past students until the next time I teach it. So you should pretty much have access to this. I'm saying should because there might be a time in November, whatever, I'm setting up the next classes that I might just set up the next class access, in which case use that. So just download this sheet and that's it. And then you'll have it forever. Okay, thanks for asking that because yeah, any of you guys who are in any of the classes, you can just right click and download them and then keep them because you might not have access to this. For sure, you won't have access to this when I start teaching the new class. And sometimes a few months, a month or two earlier, I might already
I
stop
have another
the
question on
access.
that. Will we also have access to the virtual desktop? So to do Photoshop, to do the exercises along with
Yeah. Yeah, VDI is accessible as long as you're a student and you have a pipeline account. It's always accessible to you.
Okay,
It's got nothing, it's got nothing to do with the class. And that's because she's in some of my classes where we've been used to use a thing called VDI to access Photoshop and things like that. So yeah, as long as you're an active student, you become an active student as long as you take at least one class, at least either in the fall or in the spring. Summer doesn't count as far as active students. So if you take a class in the fall, you're a whole year an active student. If you take class in the spring for a whole year, you're an active student. And that's why if you keep doing that, you never have to re-register. Those of you who found that each time you sign up into your register is because you lapsed a year, then you have to re-register. Otherwise, or you're only taking the summer classes, then you have to re-register. Other than that, you stay, all you do is you go open and you just put in the CRN and you're in. Okay. Great questions. So that's good. Let me see if there's any other question here in the chat. I don't see any questions, but I also don't see any thing in the chat. Oh, it was I asked for class. You guys had homework. You were supposed to do groups, albums, keywords. You had to do some work with the metadata. I think there was one more homework. Mainly it was keywords and searching. No, did I write down? What was the other thing I told you guys you had to do by today? Was it just keywording? No, there was something else. I can't hear you. I know I see you're answering me, Jackie, but you're muted.
just keywords, I think.
I think it was 5 keywords.
Just 5 keywords. That was it. Okay. I had assigned you something else. 5 keywords. Okay. So tell me in the chat if you did it and if it worked, it didn't work. If you have questions about it, if you're like, oh, keywords seem complicated, I don't want to deal with them. Just let me know. And actually, they're just an alternative to albums, to have less albums kind of sitting there or they're in addition to. So I do make albums for things that are very specific, crucial, that I want to see all the time really quickly. But for anything else that I want to easily find, when I'm entering my photos, I just tag, keyword, and the next time that I'm looking for something, it'll appear with a search instead of having a whole album for it. So that's kind of how I use the keywords versus the albums. I don't think it's either or, but some people can choose to have it be either or. One or the other could be more flexible in certain situations. But for the most part, it's an and for me versus an either or. All right, Rebecca?
As far as the Zoom class recording links, I've downloaded a lot of them and they go into my YouTube account, and so I can watch them at any time.
You've downloaded the video?
Yeah. To my YouTube, and so I can go in bed and watch TV and watch you on YouTube.
Okay. I didn't know that you could download it. That's interesting. So you guys, these videos are posted on YouTube. They are private links, right? So it's not like you can just, anyone can find the video. You'd have to have these links, right? But when you get to it, I thought you could just watch it there. I didn't know that you could say, well, you can do a save. Are you doing a save on your account or a download? Because
No,
if you
I don't-
download a video, these are like really huge video. It's interesting. Why don't you at some point open up YouTube and then show me? Because that's, I would like to know that. Then I can tell my students that. Right now, what you can do is subscribe to my channel. I'm not the kind of person who needs to subscribe, but if you go to one of my videos and click on subscribe, then all you need to do is go to that channel. Let me show you. Once you subscribe, that's another way to do
Yeah, I
this.
did. Yeah.
And here it is. So once you subscribe, so here's my channel. Once you subscribe, you'll have access to every video of all my classes, and there's thousands going back and back, and I have 600 videos of all my classes. So then you can see because then you'll have access to this, because this is private to get to the link. But if you know of me and you do know, you go to playlists,
Oh my
then
God.
you go to
It says 727 videos.
yeah, under SBCC, there's 727 videos. So click on SBCC and there you go. You have a ton. Anyway, mine is different because it's my channel, but yeah, that's what you do. Anyway,
What's
so
the
that's
name of your
that's
channel?
plan B.
What's the name of your channel?
I don't even know. Is it Diana Musacchio?
Well,
Do you
it's
have-
under SBCC and then it says Diana. How do you say
well,
your
that's
last?
here, let me share the screen again. Let me share. When you go to one of these links, right? So I click on this and I go to this link. It opens up in YouTube. And since this is mine, I can't subscribe to myself, but over here I have analytics edit video because this is me. You have a button here that says subscribe. There it is. My channel name is Diana Musacchio. There you go. It looks like I have 92 subscribers. Of the bazillions of students I have, only a few have subscribed. I don't necessarily promote it. I don't need you guys to sign up to anything. But if you were to say subscribe, then when you go to just me, I would have someone else show it, because when I go to me, I see me as an internal person. Who said that they subscribe? Can you share your screen for a second and you'll see how it looks for a user? I go into it and I go into my tools, but you guys as viewers, if you want to share your screen and show it for a second, then you can all do it that way. There we go. Oh, so that was similar to what I was saying. So when you click on my name, you go to that, and then there it is, SBCC. Click on, double click on SBCC. No, my photo, the photo that you see of me, down the playlist, down there, down,
Oh,
that one. Yeah, if you double click on that, oh, that's only one. But see
That's
on
one,
the
but
right,
I'm
wait, but see,
subscribed.
wait, but on the right side, go to the, see, that's a whole list also. Scroll down, scroll, and it gets all my videos. Okay, you actually opened it instead of scrolling, but there you go. You can get
Yeah,
that way.
there's Good morning.
And they're all set by date, okay, by time. So, you know, the
Can you
name
hear
of it
me?
is date
Yes,
in
we can hear
Photoshop,
you.
date and whatever.
I wanted to see if her headset.
Good morning.
Okay,
Hear me?
all right.
We can hear you.
I'm gonna stop. You're shared because
Change headsets yesterday because this one
you're
began.
running the video. Someone's running a video
Now
of
I'm
me.
back to new headsets for the second time in the last few days.
That other voice
No,
is
not new
someone's
headset,
running my
new feed.
video.
Good morning.
Okay.
Letting everyone in. Good morning. Good morning.
We're all muted.
Oh, how funny. I said I just muted you all. I forgot that I muted myself too. I muted everyone. I was like, that. When I say
think
mute
mine
all,
would-
it includes me. I just muted everyone because in the background, someone was running my video and I'm trying to talk and it was me talking from one of you guys talking. And so it was kind of
I
confusing.
think it was my YouTube channel, I think
got it.
started.
Cool. So there you go. Yeah, but that's a great idea. I love what you just said. You just kick back instead of watching some inane TV show. You watch Diana Musakio's recordings and learn. I never knew I'd be so famous. Anyway, okay. Good questions, everyone. How do you get to my stuff? Download the links to go just to yours and not have to sort and look, because otherwise you'll have by date every one of my classes, and then you'll have to look to see where's my iLife class down here, because per week I have right now 8 classes, and so I'll do 8 links, and sometimes it's the long classes I put you might got 10 links to go to the following week, and another 10 links to go to the following week and stuff like that. Anyway, I only had one question on the chat about keywords. So, well, Jill, notice that when you write, you're writing to just me. Whenever you ask class, like if you're like, my head aches, whatever, be me. But if not, when you go write, go ahead and change, instead of to me, say to everyone, so that everyone can see your answers. Because she said keywords worked. And then Jackie said, and this is a question, that's good. I tried to remove, and you won't find these things until you do them, right? So she did try them, and she tried to remove a photo from a keyword group. Can that be done? That's a great question. I will now go ahead and show you how to do that. So I'm going to share my screen. Here we go. And all right. So remember how keywords were seen, and importantly, you click on this little I, or you do get info, which is command I, and this is where you see the metadata. So if I click on this one over here, if I see a keyword, then that means it's been keyworded. But if not, let me go find a keyword that I haven't been keyworded lately because I had deleted them. I think I had some keyword. I mean, normally you'd see it. Here's a keyword. See that little tag there? That's a keyword. So if I click on this photo, there's a keyword called mushroom. And this one too, and this one too. But if I decide that these, see all these that say mushroom have keywords, I put every single one of them on. But I say that I don't think this is a good photo. So I don't want to, when I search for mushrooms, I don't want to see this one. Then all I need to do is over here, go in and just delete it from this one. See, it doesn't have that keyword anymore. And then this one still does, and this one still does. So next time I do a search for mushroom, this won't want, through keywords, this won't appear. Does that make sense? Just delete it from that metadata for that one. Or add it again. You go, oh, that wasn't meant to be. Just put mushroom, and there it is. It appears again. And now it's back to having that tag, right? So you add and take away from here. The keyword manager is where you make your keywords. But another way to make them is from here, and this is just a bit of a review. Say that this one here is supposed to go into textures, right? Then I can look at it and go, oh, these clearly belong in textures. So I'm going to go from here to here. I've selected these 4 that go into textures, and then I just go here and I write text. I can't see I need to put my other glass. Textures, and it didn't exist. See how no little blue line came up? It didn't exist. So that means I don't have it as a keyword. So I write the word, I hit return, and I have created a keyword. Now that exists. And then next time I find a texture like this one, these are also textures. So I'm going to select these 3. Now I want to add them to that keyword. I start writing text and there it comes up because it existed already. See that? And so now I have those 600 textures and they're all keyworded. By the way, I had shown you that one of my albums was textures. So can you have both textures in keywords and albums if you want to? Yeah. But sometimes they're identical. In this case, it's the same. If I write textures as a search, I'll find the ones that I've keyworded, or if I put them here, I'll find the ones I put in. The way I see it, I might keyword anything that's a texture with textures. And then, so what I'm trying to say is, if it's a texture, let me go into my general library. If it's a texture, I'll keyword it. I'll keyword it, I'll keyword it, right? Texture, anything I find that's a texture, I'll keyword. So then when I do a keyword search of textures, right? That'll, when I do that, then, oh, not textures, right? Then it'll come up and it'll show me the 7 that I put in there. By the time I go through my library, I might have 1,000. But that just means that if I look for a texture in there, those are just the ones I called textures. That said, of those, if I made an album called textures, it's because I put the ones that I think are the best of the best, or the ones that I'm actually using right now for a project. And so I put them in here, I use them, and then maybe when I'm done, I'll take them out of this album again. And then next time I have a different project where I'm looking for textures of water rippling, I'll search my keyword of textures, right? And I'll bring that up, and maybe I have 2,000 and I scroll up and down and I find the textures of water rippling. I throw those into my textures. And so next time in here, I'll have like 10 chosen water ripplings, and then I'll see which one I use. Does that make sense? It's a way of using both. But that's because I work with this stuff. I'm an artist. Many of you guys are artists. You might want to do something like that. But other than that, I use my albums for what I consider the best of the best, right? For the best of all of the trips for my trip, the best of all whatever. But I'll keyword every single photo that I took on this bike trip. Maybe I took 400 photos on this bike trip. They're all called bike trip. And then over here, I have the best of those, and the ones that I want to show when someone comes over and said, oh, show me about your trip. And I'll show them, 20, not 400. But if I keyword them, all the 400 is bike trip. Then if I ever go, oh, wait, there was this one thing we saw. Where was that? And so I'll just go to my bike trip keyword and I'll scroll through that and go, oh, here it was. I had never put it in my album, but I could find it. Is that a distinction now? That makes that helps you guys distinguish between at least how I use albums versus textures. If that all makes sense to you, give me a yes. If you're like, I still don't see the difference, I'm not sure how would I use it, then I can give you a couple more examples. While you're giving me a yes or a no, I see Elizabeth, you raised your hand.
I did.
Is there a question?
I have a PC and an iPad, and I want to know if any of this is possible on my iPad.
Oh, yeah, all of this is, we said keywords. I'm sorry.
Right.
Keywords, we decided, keywords is possible. Albums are possible everywhere. Keywords are possible only on your Mac. And I think they're working on it. But right now, iPhone and iPad doesn't have the keywords choice. So I'm talking to everyone who has a Mac computer. Okay. And
Okay.
yeah, Maysan now has a Mac computer.
Good.
So maybe Maysan can work on her photos in this computer. But the reason I was asking you, Maysan, and right now I'm not going to convince you or not, I'm not trying to convince you to use the Mac for your iCloud, the stuff you said your husband say. But if you ever do set up your Mac and you both are going to be using that Mac, then you can set up 2 accounts. And when your husband opens his computer, it's set up the way he wants it. And when you open the computer, it's set up the way you want it. Okay. So you can have one computer used by 2 people and your photos are there. You do everything you want. That's it. And then when he uses it, he signs in as himself, and then he uses it whatever he wants to use. Right. So you can connect to the cloud and he cannot. That's okay. Like you can have a computer work as for 2 people completely separately. In fact, you should, because just like you have your own phone, your phone is yours and his is his. He might have the phone numbers of people in there that you don't know, but they're from his work, and you might have people texts that someone sent to you and they don't send them to him. So your information in your phone is different than information on his phone. Exactly the same on the computer. If you set up a computer for one person, on the phone contacts and on the messages, it'll only be, say, his stuff, not yours. If you set it up with two accounts, then you can use the computer with your phone's text, numbers, photos, and he can use it with his. So just another reason to consider taking the class. If this is his computer and he's lending it to you for this class, then forget about it. But if it's a computer you're both going to use, then I highly recommend setting it up for both of them, because for both of you,
So
because
just two different login, right?
it's two
With
different
the-
logins, yeah. And you don't know, you open yours, it's your entire computer. You log out, he logs in, it's all his entire computer. And there's no combo, so there's no overlap, right? If you want to get into his stuff and he doesn't want you to, then he can just not tell you the password, vice versa, right? If you want privacy. But if you both know each other's passwords, it's not about privacy, it's about all the stuff that's on your phone and your iPad going into your account, because the computer without a different can only be set up with one iCloud unless you set it up separately, because you don't merge, like your phone's photos, his phone's photos don't merge in the computer unless you have it set up as two separate accounts, right? With two logins.
So
Like,
with that being said, that means I need a different Apple ID to set it up.
oh, you guys don't have separate Apple IDs? You
No,
both are using
we
the
just
same
use
one?
one. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's fine. People who at first didn't know, but right now, if you use one, then fine, go ahead and use the computer setup as one, and everything you have is shared from both of you guys. But when you take a picture and he takes a picture, if you're using on your phones, you have the same Apple IDs on both.
Yeah.
Then when you take a picture and he takes a picture, if you are connected to the cloud, you'd both see each other's pictures. But if you're not connected to the cloud right now, if your phone dies, you lose all your pictures. Okay.
Right.
So
right.
consider that the cloud right now is the way to save your photos versus losing them. Because right, you just bought a Mac right now. Before you had to do the transfer. I remember you had it all set up
Yeah,
that you
do
transferred
that.
by cable and all that. So make sure that if you don't connect to the cloud, that you keep doing that with both phones so that you'll never lose anything. All right. But
Good.
now you can put them in here and use this. Putting
Mhm.
them in by cable, still by cable, by hand. You'll have to still connect to the phone. If you don't want to connect to the cloud, you'll have to put it in by hand, but you'll be able to use all these things.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Did you already talk about Captain? I'm sorry, Elizabeth. Someone said, thanks, Elizabeth. That was my question too. I know you just asked me a question. I'm drawing a blank. Because you remind me what your question was?
Who, are you talking to me?
Yeah, you had
No,
asked.
I asked you if any of this was possible on my
Oh,
iPad.
thank you. Thank you. That's why I segued to my son. And because I was still answering that long question. Got it. Thanks. I just suddenly drew a blank. I was talking about the PCs to my son. I forgot that it started with your question. All right. So the answer applied to you, to Tamara, and to my son. Okay. All right. So let's head over to the left. Remember, so there's no more keyword questions. That's good. A few of you guys said yes, like you used keywords. A few of you didn't, like Bob. No, Bob, you did on your other computer. Jill, most of you seems to have had said yes, except for, of course, Mac PC people only who on the phone and the iPad you can't use. You can only use albums, not keywords. All right. Oh, but what I want to clarify, you can only make the keyword on your computer. But, and I think I did this after class last week. So let me share this one little last tidbit about keywords on my phone. On
I'm
my
sorry,
phone.
I have an emergency. How do I force quit my photos? I hit rotate, now it's trying to rotate all my pictures.
Oh, shoot. But that's not a force quit. That's a stop. Okay. Hang I was gonna say wait until it's done and unrotate again, or just go up to the apple and write force quit. Little apple, and it'll
Good.
say what to apple, and you can force quit that way. Pretty strongish way to do that, but it works. Okay, so here I'm on my phone, right? Which I said doesn't have keywords, but I do have keywords on my computer where I set them up. So for example, one of my keywords is pottery, for example, right? So if on the phone, I go to my search right there, and I write pottery, and I click on pottery, all the things that I have keyworded pottery will pop in there, which is 120 of them. See, these are things that I had keyworded as pottery. Does that make
Share your
sense?
screen, please share your screen.
I am sharing it. I'm sharing my pottery is going up and down.
Oh,
I'm going to stop my share and share again. See if that helps you pop it in. It takes a little bit each time. That's why I don't want to do it all the time, but yeah. Okay. So do you see my screen now?
yes.
Okay. So basically all I said is I go to my search. I'm in my libraries and I want to find one of my keywords. For example, I have one called best family, right? And so, no, I can't add keywords here, but I can go to the search and write up here. I'm going to write best family and see that's my keyword. I also have a keyword called best, go to best family. And these are the ones that in my computer, see keywords. You see that? I keyworded these 18 as best family. Does that make sense? You can't create them on the phone, but you can use them to search for photos. So if you created on your computer a keyword called best family and someone says, oh, let me see the photos of your family, you just go, okay, sure. You could do that. And then there you go. You scroll down, up and down and say, oh, there are my kids. Okay. Or I was just on a trip and I want to, you want to show your best trip. And so here I didn't, this one, it was just a sample. So I only have 3. And then there's my keywords for best all trip. And there you go. Okay. So I didn't, this is my real, my fake phone. So I haven't, but actually on my real phone, I did put like this summer trip that was a month of a bunch of places. I went ahead and put a whole bunch of favorites. And the other day, someone was, how was your trip? How did it go? And I'm like, oh yeah, here you see. And I just showed 20 photos of my trip instead of 450 photos of my trip. All right. So if you have a Mac and you set them up, then on your phone, on your iPad, you can access those keywords in order to search, but not to make. And I'm pretty sure that they're going to probably end up changing that soon because that, you know, would be a good addition. All right. So time to work on editing our pictures. So over time, let me clean your answers. Over time, I've been telling you, go out and take pictures, take photos, use the different settings, right? I've been urging you to test things out, to try things out. This is why I was asking if I didn't give you this homework. Looks like I forgot to give you this homework last week. But what I would have liked to do, now I want you to do right now. We'll do a couple of minutes and then you can complete it. Sorry, let me give it, but for next class is our last class. Well, for next class, it won't be necessary. Next class, we'll be doing video. Okay, so we'll do this. Basically, what I wanted you guys to do is to make a folder of called to be edited. I wanted you, sorry, a folder, an album, but we'll just do it right now. Basically, what do I mean by editing? When I say that there's a photo that we said is one that's not good enough right now for one reason or another. Like, see this one? It's kind of dark. Or something needs to be cropped. It's crooked. Like this one, it's crooked. See how the table's kind of crooked. Light, dark, colors, crooked, retouching. I don't like over here, if I want to show this picture to someone and I don't want to see, well, this isn't a good one. There's nothing to retouch, but say that there's something to retouch somewhere. a trash can behind your poster, or a face full of pimples or something like that, you can retouch that out. There's so much you can do, right? So I want you guys to, right now, let's create a new album. Call it for editing or to be edited or something like that, right? So I have one already, but I'm gonna show you. So everyone do this right now. Plus sign, album, and call it edit right now. Right now is this temporarily, just call it whatever you want, or just leave it, have it be an album you have, because every time you take a picture, you don't have time to sit and edit. I'm going to call this one just to edit instead to be edited. I already have there, and it's empty, right? So now I'll go to my library, and I want you guys to start scrolling and finding photos that you think you can do something to. So maybe I want to crop in on this photo, for example. So I'm going to grab it and put it in onto edit. Maybe you want to make a sunset. Oh, this one is a perfect one. This one is clouds, but look at how gray they look. So I want to edit that one. So I'm going to put it in there. So I need you guys, even if you don't find a perfect one, I need you guys to fake it. I need you guys to put your photos in here because we want to edit some photos, okay? Today, that's what we're going to be doing in the next couple of minutes. And the whole class today, we're going to be editing. So if there's anything you think that you need, that needs to be edited, this would be a good time to do it. So I'm going to grab, I don't know, one of these guys.
Diana,
Yeah. Yeah.
I forgot when you said make do a plus and make an album to edit. Where do I find that plus sign that you said? Is it,
Okay. Yeah. So
do I go to album?
go to albums, to my albums down here, my albums at the top, and there's that plus sign. You can also go up to file, sorry, to file and make a, no, because that would only be to make
I don't
here.
see an album. I mean, I don't see a plus.
File, and you can make a new album in there. But if
Okay.
not, when you won't see a plus sign until, like right now, if I look at my albums, there's no plus sign. You need to put your mouse over it and then the plus sign appears.
Oh, where do I put the mouse?
On the word my albums. You have so many albums, so many albums. You might need to go really up high until you find the my albums. Maybe you also have your media types opened up. Maybe you have a bunch of other stuff. And I know that you have hundreds of albums. So scroll all the way to the beginning again, the top, and then close your stuff. And when you get to my albums, there's the my albums. Or just don't. Just go up to file
I
and
don't
make a new album.
it's
Okay, go ahead and share your screen. I'll help you. Share your screen.
share my
Meanwhile, everyone be putting some photos in there, ideally light and dark. And okay, so your album, see, there's the word album. It says albums instead of my albums. Click on, go put your mouse over the word albums, click on it. Yeah, and then see on the right side, there's an arrow, open it up, click on that arrow. There you go, those are your,
Oh, I see.
and
Okay.
now you have media shared and there's your albums. So then go to the right side of the word my albums, there's your plus sign.
Okay,
Oh,
got
but stop, don't do that. Don't do that. I see your fourth album down is called to edit. You must have done this already. Move your mouse down, 4 names. Down, down. There, see the to edit? You must have done it in some other class. You have it. So click on that. Click to see that album. You only have one photo. So now go and find some more to drag into here. Okay.
I see.
All right.
Thank you.
I need to run for 2 minutes while you guys fill this album with at least 5 photos, but have them be a couple different things, light, color, retouching, or just throw some stuff in there to exercise and practice with. And I'll be with you guys back in maybe less than 5 minutes, maybe 3 minutes. Give me a sec. I need to help my son with something. So you guys work for a minute. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. Hopefully by now you all have some photos in your videos to edit. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And
Deanna, may I
yes.
ask a question? You know what? I'm somehow not remembering how to, I'm creating an album. What I did is I evidently made folders and there's albums within when I pulled them over.
So
I'm
here's my
trying
album. When you click on the plus sign, you can either make an album or a folder.
okay.
So you can just make an album.
Okay.
Do you want to share your screen to see what's
You
happening?
know what? Yeah, just for a moment because
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
Let's see, is it up? No, I guess not. Sorry.
Not yet.
Okay,
That's
here.
okay.
I don't know why it's not allowing me to put up. Oh, maybe it wants to use my photos, not my desktop.
Okay,
Oh.
either way. Okay.
Okay. Anyway, okay, because when I did do that, and then I did evidently I made a folder.
Oh, I see what's happened. Since you made a folder and folders can't hold photos, every time you found a photo and tried to drop it into these editing, it's made 5 or 6 albums, each one with one photo. See? So that's fine. Go ahead and let's go ahead and do this. Select the top one and change its name to edit. Needs editing, whatever you want to call it. Needs editing.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. And now go ahead and grab that untitled album. The one right underneath it. The one right underneath it.
Okay.
Yeah. Drag it and drop it in there.
Oh, okay.
Or do you want to merge them? Yeah. Or maybe you can select. So now grab, okay, never mind. It got the name of Untitled, it got the name of the bottom one, but never mind. Grab one into the other. Start putting them all into on top of the other, and then you'll change the name. You want to merge them? Yeah. And so on and so forth. And then when you're done, you'll have one, and then you can take it out of that folder.
Okay, because I was gonna try to start over and delete it, and then it said that everything in there was gonna be deleted from
Yeah, no, not from everywhere, from the albums. And that's okay. You could have gotten rid of them and do it again, but now I'm showing you, since you already found them, you have to go find them again. Now call that one to be edited or something.
Okay.
And now you have all the photos you'd already chosen in there. So click one more time, and call it to edit.
Okay.
Okay. And now you don't need it in a folder. So you can drag that edit and put it into my albums right above. Like,
Okay.
yeah, there you go. Let go. Oh, the blue line. There. Yeah, when the go up, when the blue line is above there, you have to let go of your mouse when the blue line is above, or just drag it into the word My Albums if that's easier for you. Yeah, let it go there, and now you can throw away the needs editing. Right click and throw that one away.
Oh, all right.
Delete the folder.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay. So now when I do it, I just actually go to album, right?
Yeah, but you already made an album, so don't go to
Okay.
album. Go find a photo. Go to your library now. Go to your all your photos. Go to the very top, all your photos. And
Okay.
when you want to add one of these to edit, then just grab it and put it into edit. So on the left side, I recommend, yeah, scrolling down or close the media, you know. Yeah, and then now go grab any photo. It doesn't matter because you left the edit album way at the bottom. Way, it's the last one.
Oh, there it is.
Now you can grab it and drag it to the top if you want, by the way. But it's the last one created, so it went down to the bottom. So grab something and drop it in there. There you go.
Okay.
And then,
Okay.
but if, there you go. So perfect. No, that's a great question because you guys see, let me just show that myself. When you don't have an album, for you guys to know what happened to her, when you don't have an album made and you just grab an image, right? And you just drop it in here. I'm going to grab this and just drop it in here. Boom. It makes an album of one. If you put it out, and so she did that 6 times, and so she had 6 albums of one thing. Does that make sense? So that's just how she got there. She just selected something, and without an album ready to go, and or even if you drop it in the middle of them too, instead of when it says blue, if you just drop it there, but in the middle, it won't go anywhere. If you drop it in my albums, which is what happened, then there it is. It's waiting for, so there you go. Now, if I did want that one, I can go back out here and put it under art, for example. And then there we go. Now I have this one that I need to start putting stuff into, whatever. That's basically what I asked her to do, to put all those 6 albums in one and then to move it into the right place. All right. Now I did put some in here under to edit. I also had my original to be edited. Let me put them next to each other. So I ended up with 2 albums that are the same thing. Ish. This one I had made a long time ago. This one I just threw in stuff as I was talking to you. But if I don't want to, I can just select one, put it on top of the other, or select this one and put it on top of that one. I think it goes down and then it'll merge. So I end up with just one. Okay, so now this one includes those that I just put in there. So that's what the other thing I told her to do. I told her to merge all her Untitled albums by just dropping one on top of the other. All right, that's just the explanation of what I just did. Now, let's see if we can do some editing. So the first one, if you found something you need to crop or straighten, that would work. This one I want to crop. This one I have to straighten and crop. This one I need to lighten. So let's start with find something you can crop. And here's the thing. Don't worry if there's nothing that you need to crop. Because everything we do now can be undone. Okay? And if you're not sure because you're learning and you're like, oh my God, I don't want to mess this one up, you can duplicate it. You can right click and just duplicate the photo. And then you can just work on one of them. I don't recommend doing that much because then you end up with double the photos. But that's in case you're being really squeamish and go like, oh, I don't know, I want to do this. Because you'll see now that once we open it up, you will be able to do it. So this one I want to straighten and crop a little bit, not much, but see how the lines are turned. So I'm going to double click. When I see a bit bigger, I go, yeah, see how it's kind of falling over. I want to straighten it, and then I want to crop it a little bit to be just closer to have the gate open. So I go ahead and click up here on the word edit. So first you double click it, and then you just, whoops, I didn't mean to, I didn't mean to do this, but I rotated it without needing to. So double click to open it and go, yep, I think I can handle this one, and then hit edit. And this whole thing opens up, which, by the way, let me close it because it doesn't look like this for you guys. It probably looks just like that or something like that. This is okay. Okay, I'm muting you, Elizabeth. I'm not sure. There's some feedback. So I've muted you. Let me know if you had a question or what. So if everyone got their editing to open up, then let's go ahead and give me a yes. I'm noticing in the questions that Lynn, you said, did you already talk about Captain? Are you talking about the operating system Captain? Is that what you're asking, Lynn?
No, I actually tried to do the keyword in my iPhone, and I couldn't do keyword, but I
Yeah,
did
you can.
add a captain right there. I was trying to use that as a keyword.
The word captain.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
They say
Caption.
caption.
Oh,
Caption.
oh, caption. I see.
Yeah.
Thank you. That one. Okay, I haven't. Give me a second. But basically, if you want to write something about the photo to remember, like Santi in front of the gates of UC Berkeley, on our trip to visit after he was admitted, or something like that. So basically, anything you want to write about it, that would be a place to put it, right? That's what it is. Later, there's one time we see it. If I go print this, remind me when I'm done with editing, if I go print this, I have a choice to print it with a caption or not. Let me just do it really quickly because that's a quickly done thing. Let me just say edit to that. Let me say that I want to print this right now. This photo, and I go print, and I'll show you a bit later. Then I have the choice to see the caption here. I can put the caption or not. So I can say I want the caption. And so now this is gonna print with a caption. That was just a really quick example of what that is. And I'm not even showing you how the print is tiny and stuff like that. So just that's the use of putting in a caption. And the only time you would see it is in the metadata here. In the search, if I go search right now, the word gate, sorry, if I were to do a search here for the word gates, then the word gates was in there, sent in front of the gates, so it picked it up. So just because I wrote that whole thing, I'm able to search with the word, any of those words. If I had searched for the word front, then Santi in front, there it comes in again. Does that make sense? So that's what a caption is for. And as I said, if you put it and you print it, or if you put it in a slideshow or something like that, you can use it there too. I'm hoping to make it to slideshows today. So let's keep going back to edit.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Edit. Okay, so everyone should be here in edit. And when you first open it, this is about what you have open, right? You have light and color open if you've never used it before, I believe. Now, what I mean by open is if these little arrows are clicked on, see how I just see light, color, black and white, retouch, blah, blah, blah. But if at some point you open them, clicking this arrow, and you open them, and you open them, and you open them, if you've been doing that, then you're opening a whole bunch of stuff. Right now, let's close everything other than light. Let's just focus on one at a time. We'll leave it there. And once you open light, you have the choice to move this around back and forth to lighten it or darken it. And if I look at my photo, see how much it's changing? And it's going better or worse as far as this, right? And if I don't know, none of these seem good. This one wasn't necessarily darker or lighter, so this wasn't really the right correction. Then I'll undo that by clicking this little arrow, undo, and it pops into the middle, okay? Then if I want to do more, we'll use another photo that has more of that. I can do the options and begin to work with that, but I'm going to use a different photo for that one. Right now, this one I wanted to do some cropping with. So as long as you have the photo with everything else closed up so it's not confusing, this is the adjust mode to adjust the photo. But there's 3 different modes: the adjust, the filters, and the crop mode. Adjust, filters, and crop. Okay. So let's head over to crop, because I told you to find one that you're willing to crop. Even if you don't find one yet that you know you really want to crop, we're going to crop it, because then I'll show you how you can undo the change. It's not permanent at all. So we headed into crop. All right, so here I have possibilities of how to crop. One thing I can do is just grab the corners and bring it in and crop it, or just bring it in like that and crop it. But before I do that, and I'm going to Command Z to undo what I just did, Command and tap the letter Z. First, I want to straighten it, because what's the point of cropping it and then straightening it? So I'm going to straighten it using these lines, and I can do it either putting my mouse a little bit outside of one of the corners and clicking and dragging, or I can use this guy here and do it this way. So either way, you can straighten it. Wow. Is it already time to give you guys a break? Is that right? I can't believe it's time for break already. That alarm might be wrongly set up. Let me look at my calendar, my time. Wow, this is a short class. You're right. It is about time for break. Okay, so let me just wait a minute. So I either used this to straighten it, which worked, or I go over here and I do it by hand. And you notice that just to straighten it, a grid turns on to help me kind of try to match a line to the line. So it's a visual kind of crop kind of situation where you just use that when you let go of the straighten, the grid disappears. That was just supposed to be helpful, which in this case it did help because I had some straight lines. Other times you just need to kind of guess. But by doing that, I had something already got cropped. So now say that I did want to get only the gate, I might want to bring it in from the sides only like that, because I don't have any more, this doesn't make sense for this photo. I would probably want to leave the whole gates, right? Maybe I want to leave the 2 columns, right? Or maybe I want to crop the whole thing out and just have the guy, you go to the top. Or if you want to do both at once, then you grab it from the corners up here, and then you can just do in and out, maybe this person was someone important too, and you want to include them. Anyway, so once you're not sure, you can also put your fingers in here, and after you did the crop, you can keep moving it around until you find the right spot. And then when you're happy with what you got, when everything looks good, then you just say done, right? Or if that's the only change. What if you're not done and now you want to do something else to it? Then you don't say done. Then you go ahead, and anything else you're going to do other than cropping is going to be here under adjusting or filters. What I want to show you right now, I'm going to make a tremendously crazy crop so that it's very clear that I'm doing a humongous crop. There you go. That's a huge crop. I don't recommend it, by the way. Now it's out of resolution for those of you who know my Photoshop resolution, but I made a huge crop. The reason I did this is I'm going to say done. So now if I go back to my photo album, that photo is what I have. I lost the other one. You see that? It would seem, oh my God, I lost that photo that's so important. Well, no, I didn't. In fact, now that it's been edited, see these little lines that appear right there? That is showing up because I edited it, versus this one I didn't edit, so it doesn't have those tiny little icons, and it's just hard to see, but that little guy, that's telling me that it's been edited, okay? So now I'm like, oh no, I lost it. I lost it. I double click, go to edit again, and I can just revert it to the original. Boom. I didn't lose it. Okay. So don't fear any changes you make, you can completely get rid of. There's a smaller way to revert, only some changes instead of everything. But that was my big old, hey, do whatever you want to this photo because you can't ruin it. All of these are non-destructive situations. Okay. All right. So that said, I'm going to go ahead and crop it again. This time I'm going to do the final crop. I straightened it. And I'm just going to crop maybe this little corner. So I'm showing about the same amount from both sides. Just there we go. So say that that's my final photo. I'm going to say done. Now this one is my edited photo. I'm going to back out and over. It's on light color, so you can't see, but there's the 3 little lights are there. So that was just a simple crop and straighten. We could have done more to this photo, but that's all we did. It's a crop and straighten. Okay. Now, since I had made a copy the time that I was a bit worried about, because I wasn't sure, see how now I ended up with, I had already said yes to that one. So I'm going to open this one, edit, and I'm going to say revert to original, and then say done to that one. That way I don't have the changes. So now if you do 2 changes, where are they? I'm going to make it bigger so you guys can see this better. If you do end up copying them and having 2, I'm going to try to have you guys have, because this is happening, you can't see them together. Do you see how this is the one that I cropped and this is the original one? I don't recommend doing this for something like this because why don't you just keep the good one? I do recommend, on the other hand, say there's a photo where you want 2 versions. You want a close-up of the dog, but you also want the dog sitting in there, and you want both. For some reason, you really want both. Then you would have to duplicate to see both at the same time. But most of the times, why would I want the crooked one? So I keep only the one I'm editing, knowing that if I ever don't want the other one, all I need to do is undo, revert. Okay. So I'm going to get rid of the duplicate photo and I'm going to have only one left with the correct one. Okay. If I ever think I want those edges again, as I said, I could revert it. Okay. So was everyone able to crop something successfully? Let me clean my answers. And then if all is going well, I want to show you one last thing about the cropping. I'm going to double click on this one. Actually, this one, it has something really crooked. Some things, if you tried to fix this, I'm going to edit. If you try to crip something that's this crooked, it's, you know, you're going to have to lose so much photo to do that. Wait, isn't this you, son? No. Okay.
That's
Maybe
me.
that's
That's
you.
me.
Yeah. I remember you from my in-person photo. There we go. I'm like, wait, some of you guys are here. So if I were to do this and this, that's a big change. I've managed to straighten it up. I could have also tried to do some distorting one way or another. These would distort it. If something is really off, you can try that. Right now, none of these makes sense to me, but I was able to save that photo from where it was before. And if I want to see where it was before, right here, I can click on this and it would show me the before and oh, no, that's just for the adjustments, not for the crop. If I go over here, I'm going to say done. And over here, this photo before the edit was impossible. I mean, it truly was impossible, but I can always open it 2 months later, 2 years later and say revert to the original. And then I have that one again. Does that make sense? So don't worry too much. Okay. Now.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Where you change the aspect of the,
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and do this one.
I don't see it on my But is
in
it a
your
more
crop.
modern feature? Is it a more modern?
Yeah, it's a more modern feature. You have the old version. So over here, I can do vertical. So see how the columns are a little bit off? I could go ahead and straighten it so that you see how I've straightened the columns a bit. So that's what I just did. I used the vertical, but I got these two columns more better, but then this one's a little bit off. It's really hard unless you really work at it to get everything to get straight. You'd have to have taken the picture from the beginning straight. But there you go. When you have a building that's very skewed, you could do that. Now, when I did that, look what happened here. That one unskewed, because to straighten that column, you had to kind of end up losing that thing, you know. So anyway, so yeah, unless that is very important. If I want to straighten this line, that's going to be messed up anyway. So I'm just showing you different things. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and say, oh, you can flip it, which never do that if you have letters, or never do that if it's a portrait, because people don't recognize themselves. Some people have, you know, one side of the face different than the other. And if it's a portrait, don't just conveniently flip it if it matters, right? Right now, who cares? You wouldn't see the hair. But if someone always parts their hair to the right and you flip it and the photo is of that person, now the hair is parted on the other side, and it's kind of weird. The last thing I'm going to say about cropping, and then we're going to take our break, is this was freeform cropping. It was freeform cropping. I was doing whatever I wanted, see? But sometimes, let me just revert to original. Sometimes you don't want to. You know, you have a 5x7 frame that you want to put this photo in. So you click on 5x7, and now it's giving you the right proportions. This was relatively similar. Actually, 4x5, it's a little bit squarer. 4x3, 3:2, you know, like those are possibilities. But like when you do an 8x10 image, then that would be, I believe 3:2 is the equivalent of an 8x10. So you put yourself in the format that's going to work. Let's do 5x7. And then it's not that the whole photo has to be 5x7. Maybe I want a photo of just the gates and the guy in 5x7. And I discover, oh, well, that's not working because I lost it, right? Well, I can just flip to 5x7, but in vertical mode versus horizontal mode. So now I'm like, oh, good. For a 5x7, I'll be able to print this one. See what I mean? And you can straighten it a little bit, and then you can add a little bit over there. But if you now wanted to add more to the sides, your only solution is to make it a teensy bit smaller. And I can, in the computer that has a touchpad, you can just squish your fingers a little bit to make it bigger or smaller, right? I'm just going to make it a little bigger or smaller. And then when I'm done, I'll say, yay, that one's ready. But then if I want to go to a different proportion, like 4x5, I discover that I have more space on the sides if I do a 4x5. And that's going to be the proportion for an 8x10, by the way, because it's double, right? 8x10 is much stockier, so to say, than a 5x7. Does that make 5x7, the proportion is a bit longer. 4x5 or 8x10 would allow me to include both of the columns, but well, if I'm losing some of that there, I can just make it bigger. So you're stuck in whatever proportion you're looking for. And this is fine if you're looking for a very specific proportion. Otherwise, you can just do freeform. All right. So say that I leave that one there. I'm going to say done. And now I'm going to back out, and there's my final crop for this photo, for example. As you can see, I've been in and out doing a bunch of stuff, and none of it hurt the photo because I can get rid of it if I want to. All right. Hopefully everyone cropped and straightened and did freeform and did proportional to a certain ratio, and you flipped it and you did vertical or horizontal, you know, portrait or frame. If you've done one of all of those and you have any questions, let me know. And if not, oh, there we go, Yolanda. You said no. I'm not sure if that's a no to this or it's an old no. I'm going to clear your feedback. You have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to my computer. I I don't know if it was my brain or what, my laptop that had gone crazy, but I didn't even realize my computer had updated to from Catalina to Sonoma. Every time there is an upgrade or an update, I don't know what you call it, something goes wrong with, and I cannot find while you were demonstrating. You go to, I have done this more than 100 times and
Yeah, you can't find the
yet-
editing. You have
and
to
yet
double click. You have to double click a photo first,
I
and then
did.
you see the edit. We're going to
Okay.
share your screen.
Let me see. Okay,
Share your screen. Things change a little bit during updates when you upgrade all the time, but if you update from Catalina to edit, then yeah. So go ahead and double click on one of these guys.
one of these guys.
Yeah, double click. Okay,
Oh, I'm
and
sorry.
now on
Okay.
top right, there's the edit. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Got
And
it.
this is, by the way, this is a great example of a photo that would, you took a picture of a photo like that was on a desk, then it's not very straight. So if you go crop it now, you're going to end up losing a piece of someone. So this would be a time to maybe use your vertical or left, go up to crop at the top. Yeah. And now for this one, you might want to do that vertical, not think so that the side of it gets straightened out. So see up at the top where it says straighten and vertical, try the vertical, move it to the left or the right a little bit, go to the middle line. You went really, no, go to the middle line. You start in the middle. Here, let me show you what I mean by the middle line. Here, go back here and click on the, bring that back to the middle line or undo over. Do you see where do you see over here when I'm pointing to? You might be hiding.
Oh, right here. Is this where you're point? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I'm pointing up there.
Okay, right
Yeah.
there.
So you moved it all the way to that vertical. Touch the middle line. Yeah. That's where you start. And then you slowly move it to the left or to the right
To the
until you
left.
get what you need. So click and drag a bit to the right. And then in your case, that might make it better or worse. You know, you don't have much of this person. So whenever you start skewing it, you kind of lose this person on the right. So maybe you're better off not moving vertical. So go back and undo that. Go back on the vertical over here and right there, and then set back to the middle. Let's see if we see more of this face. Nope. Okay, so let's reset. And I didn't show you this reset. Click over here on this reset right there, down there. Let's reset and see. Yeah, you do have more of this face. So you don't want to lose his face, okay? Because in the crops that you're doing, you're losing him. So no skewing anymore. Just bring it down from the top. Just grab this top here and bring it down and without skewing it so that we don't lose his face. Don't bring it in, just down. You can grab it from here and just go down. Oh, you have it. Okay. Go up again. Do undo. You have it on a ratio.
Undo. Oh,
So you have it in the ratio. That's why it's trying to keep it there. Go down to free form. Click on free form.
I'm sorry. Where is the free form?
I'm making a circle around it right here.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Click
Click
on
on free
it.
form. Yeah. Good. Now go ahead and do reset because you also already lost a little bit of his face. So say reset. Okay. And now you can just bring the top down without having it be proportional. Bring the top down, 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 down. See how you're not losing his face anymore? Keep going. Say that, I know that you might want the hearts. Keep going to just the photo. We're just assuming that all we want is the photo. Keep going a little bit further down. Okay. Now you can bring the bottom up.
Bottom up. This one right here.
Yeah, that one. Bring the bottom up. Good. And now bring the left side in. Yeah, no, undo. You know what? You need to, you have the whole Photos app needs to be moved from here. So outside from the dock, go click in here and move it to the right. Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah, because you're hiding. Yes. Click. Yeah. Click now and drag your whole app a little bit to the right because you're hiding important things back there. No, 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 not the photos, not the photos. Up here, up here, up here. There. Yeah. You need to make your, yeah, click and drag your mouse to the right. Just click and drag. Trust me, just do that. There you go. Because you were hiding this. Okay. It was under there. So now you can grab this side and move it in a little bit. And there you go. and you lose that. And it may be a little bit more because there's a little bit of white left down here. So a little bit more to the right. There you go. If the intention was to keep the hearts, that didn't work. But if the intention was to just get the photo, you got it. Now you can say done, and you see what we did?
Yes, thank you so much. Wow.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I just lost the heart, but that's okay.
No, but you can, it's not lost. You can now go and add the heart again. Go ahead and pull up. Yeah, click on that and pull up. Yeah, pull up, keep going. And you can also do, is put your fingers and make this whole thing smaller, like, yeah, like keep going up, or, yeah, since your computer kind of end finishes there, it'll give it to you bit by bit and it'll take quite a while. Or pinch your fingers on your laptop and you can make the whole thing get a little bit smaller again. Pinch
That's
your
all right.
fingers.
Yeah, I think this
And
is
you can
already
keep
good.
going up.
Then that's all right. The heart is not that's important. I think this is the
Oh.
most important. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
I need to turn the done part. I lost the done part. I don't.
If you closed it and didn't say
Oh,
done, then you need to open it again.
yeah, I think
It's
yeah.
at it's at the
Oh,
top right.
okay, thank you.
All right. So we're gonna be back in 10 minutes, guys. What time is it? 2:29. So let's be back in at 3:39. No,
Thank-
2. Someone just now said I was getting better.
2:39.
2:39. See you guys in 10 minutes.
Thank you. Hmm.
All right, come on back. Believe it or not, it's been 10 minutes. 10 minutes go fast. All right, if you are showing me your video, then turn it on. If you're not showing me the video, then give me a yes to show me that you're there. And here we go. All right, so let me share my screen again. Tamara is asking if you can edit in iCloud photos on your PC. I've never tried an iCloud. I'll go in right now and find out, but I do try, I have edited in on the phone, but not here. Let me. So I'm signing into the cloud on my other computer. See if you can do any editing here. Why don't I just show you what I'm doing? I just went to the cloud. Remember, at the very beginning, I showed people how to get to the cloud. So I went to iCloud.com, signed into my Apple ID.
Right.
I'm gonna go into photos and I select.
I couldn't find any way to edit.
Yeah. No, I mean, this is reduced capability. Nope, doesn't look, I doubted it, but I thought I'd check. Yeah, there's nope, no editing on the
I
cloud.
just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing something.
Yeah, no, I hear that. And no, I was just thinking, well, I highly doubt it, but let me check because ultimately they might have added it, right? Because sometimes they do. But no. Okay, great question.
Thank you.
All right, so now let me share from this computer. All right, so that's the no, let me make it smaller so you have more space on your computer. Vertical. All right, so that's what's happening. Someone has double sound. There we go. All right. So what if when wanted to change? Okay, someone needs to turn their sound. Someone with two computers needs to turn one of them off because I'm hearing myself and feedback. All right. So now I'm going to very abruptly because this is just one thing. So it's going to go really quickly fixing the one. But say that I wanted to change this one. I'm going to head to edit. And in this one, it's not about cropping. In this one, I'm going to be working with the different adjustments that have to do with light and color and whatnot. So now in this one, so now I'm talking about light, okay, over here. And see how much difference the light makes now, which it didn't in the other. Of course, this is light, right? It's kind of cool. But say that I don't know where to start, right? So you guys move it a bit there, but there, you're not sure where to go. There's one time where you can just say, hey, well, let's see what the computer thinks. And you click on auto. Now, the problem with auto is the computer has no idea that these are clouds or water or cotton. It doesn't know what this is. So it won't know how to fix it. It's a guess. And depending on your photograph, the auto might be better or worse. So sometimes it's a good place to start. Other times it's just your eyes saying what I prefer it to be really like. Clearly it's a stormy day, so I wouldn't put a ton of light through it. So what if I want to do the following? What if I want my dark to get darker and my light to get lighter, like something completely opposite? This is all lighter or all darker, right? So if I want to do something like that, then a good choice would be to open down here the word options, right? So you click on options, and now you can work on different parts of it. So say that I want my shadows to get lighter or darker. See how it's making the shadows lighter or darker. If I want my highlights to get lighter or darker, see how the whole thing looks like it changes, but it's really addressing only a specific part of it. So now you can say, well, I want the shadows to be darker, maybe the black to be a little bit darker. So you can move it around. There's not much in this photo because this is all there is, you know. So I'm going to open another one. But what I'm trying to say is make your changes, and then to see the before and after of the whole thing, you can go over here and you hold it down. That's before, this is the after. Up here, next to revert to original, there's these two little squares with a line. You hold it down. That's what you started with. This is where you are now. Another place where you can check just what's happening to the light is take this little checkbox off and turn it on. And that's like before and after of just the light. I'm going to say that I like it at that point. I'm going to say done. And I'm going to go do a photo that has much more to it, because in this case, there's not much really we can do with that one. Let me find, okay. So here's a photo that's underexposed, right? If I hit edit, I might discover that if I lighten it all, it kind of does some weird stuff to the forehead. Oh, and this is a good one because I have some stuff to retouch. So maybe over here, I'll discover that I want to raise some of the exposure a little bit, but I want to lighten the shadows. But see, now I was able to lighten the shadows without getting that white forehead that I did when I just did over here. Here I went and lightened everything, and then that's blowing out. So now I can just lighten the dark parts and the face part isn't blowing out. Does that make sense what I'm doing, you guys? Just portions of it. I can maybe make the whole thing that maybe I want to make the darks darker because I want some mystery, but see how the face kind of still stays as much as it can. I'm going extreme. I normally wouldn't go that extreme. And then maybe I can darken the highlights, and then I can maybe make everything go a little bit lighter. So you play around with these things until you get a choice. And there's more technical mathematical way to do this, but mainly just play around until you get the result that you want is not a bad solution. And then check it. It was before and after, before and after. I'm not actually going for really pretty here. I'm going for one that you can really see the differences. Actually, I liked it much better when it had more shadows and stuff, but I just wanted to make sure you see a very clear change from one to the next, right? So that's light. I'm going to leave it there, assuming that this is okay. And I needed to crop it. See how there's some weird stuff going on there. Let's do it because it's pretty distracting. I'm going to just go ahead and do that. And that already makes things much better. Get back to adjust. Actually, this isn't a good photo of the many. There's so many that he's here. You can see his eyes. This is just one that I pulled. But now there's color. So let's see what happens with color. I opened color up, and color, what it does is it makes it really, really saturated. It makes it all neon and horrible, or down to black and white. So I can make it really intense or down to black and white. That's basically the options I have over here. If I do the reset there, it goes back to 0. And I go, well, I want neither or. And so, yep, once again, there's options. And in the options, I kind of like it better because saturation to the end makes him look neon. See? So I don't like that. But vibrance, on the other hand, lightens, darkens some of it, makes the color. See how his cheeks are going even redder, but all the way to the end, he's not going neon like the saturation went. See that? Now, that said, I don't think either one. I would have maybe liked to bring down some of the colors to make maybe the cheeks a little bit less red. And then maybe it's a bit green, so it goes much yellower or much greener. So I'll make it a little bit warmer. So you play around with these things. You're always restricted by how good your computer screen is and if it's well calibrated or not, right? So that's a bit of a problem. But anyway, I'm going to darken the background now. See how I like that better when the darker is back. So you go back and forth until you get a point. And this is the good thing about these little check marks. Here, it's all to the beginning or now, all to the beginning or now, versus this one, I can just turn the color off or just turn the lightness off. So I can go individually to one or to the other. This is the difference in the color, which are pretty subtle. Let me make it more obvious. I'm going to make it intense because otherwise you can't see. I would normally not want to do such it like this, but there you go. Let me make it very, very, very warm. So you can see a big difference now between this and that, right? So I made it very, very warm. And now I can collapse color and collapse up and collapse light. And see what I mean about these two? I can turn this on or off to see just that, or on or off to see just that, or both off, then I see it from the beginning, or both on. And I only get this if there's anything changed. In this case, there's so many other things I can use, but what about I go to retouch, because I can zoom in, see over here with this thing up atop here, you can zoom in. And if I zoom in a little bit and click and drag, you'll see that maybe there's something I can retouch over here. Maybe I can take a little bit of these pimples off. Let's try that one. And if you guys don't have any pimples, go ahead and retouch. And just imagine that there's something else that you want to do. I'm going to go over here to the retouch. And in the retouch, there's a brush that I need to pick up, right? And here's the brush. And I can make the brush bigger or smaller. And you always want to have it be as small as, like, a little bit bigger than that. And I'm doing this up and down now without actually going to the slider. And what I'm doing is I'm using the bracket keys. The bracket keys on your keyboard. If you don't know what the bracket keys are, look at the letter P, and then the two keys to the right of the letter P, those are your brackets. So that makes it smaller. This makes it bigger. So now try to make it as small as you can, having it be a little bit bigger than the blemish. And now I'm going to target that area. And when I let go, like magic, look, the pimple is gone. How about this one? Now, I would never take away a mole because that's distinctive, but just so you can really see the change, I'm going to go over here and take this mole away. See how it disappeared? Like, moles aren't things that you should take off of the skin, but maybe the tip of this nose has a little thingy of acne. I'm going to take that one away. I happen, see what I mean? Well, this one actually I left a bit of it and I should take more of it out because it's managing. So now I'm going to go over here. So by the time I'm done clicking and clicking on a lot of these guys, even if it doesn't take them away completely, it takes away a little bit of that brightness. What's left is color. And if this were in Photoshop, I could do a better job of this one, taking away the whole pimple here. The color stayed, but it's much more subtle. So look at the before and after of my retouching. That's how we started. This is where we are now. See how it's quite a bit better? So just consider that you might need to make maybe the thing a little bit bigger if you want them to disappear more. So now I actually really want them to disappear. I made my thing a little bit bigger. And so now the before and after is, that's before and this is after. Look at that forehead. Before and after. Pretty cool, right? Before and after. Now, if you have pieces of trash on the grass, on the beach, it doesn't fix everything in the world. It's not like you can suddenly get rid of huge amounts of people. So, but here for this, it's working. I'm going to go ahead and say done to this one. And see how now you just basically don't see his forehead is much better. I wanted to show you the limitations, which is the one that we did before this one. If I wanted to get rid of this person, for example, for some reason or another, and I went into the retouches, the computer has to recreate what's underneath it. They're getting much and much more intelligent. On Photoshop, I could do this easily. In Apple, I have not been able to do this easily. But since things are getting better, let me try and see if it gets rid of this person relatively well. Let's see. Oh my God. Not bad. Not bad. if I actually approach up very closely, I can see that there's a bit of a weirdness going on there. And then the bottom of the end of this line has disappeared. So it's not perfect, but in the context of this photo, which I'm going to see this way, I'd say that that's perfect versus having that person there before and after. Does that make sense?
Wow.
Yes.
It's
Diana?
getting, yeah.
You have answered this before, but before, if I wanted to make a duplicate, so that I will be editing just a duplicate and not the original. Where do I find the word duplicate to duplicate the picture?
Okay, just right click and duplicate. So now
Oh.
I'm being kind of funny here and I'm really getting rid of all the people I can see from the background. If I look at this photo close up, especially there when I'm touching near here, I wanted to get one that's bad. See how anything that's really near the body, it's not working because it just kind of is doing this weird stuff. It just doesn't work. And if I really, really look at really look at what happened here. I got rid of this person that was in front of a tree and it didn't reinvent a tree. See? So you can't just do that from afar. It looks okay. And then when you try to print it, it's like, what's happening there? And here it had a little ghost of it. I can keep retouching and the ghost will probably work and it'll probably disappear. This one, but here it's not going to invent a new tree, right? So all I'm saying is don't go overboard. Most of this, it was okay, but you want to like not, undo that. So over here, if I go, oh, that was too much, I can just reset. Click on this little arrow, boom, and I get all the people in there again. Okay. And now I can just go back and say, it was just this guy is the only one that I wanted to get rid of, right? And so the best result will be, if you try to do a small amount around the shape, not much, and then let go and hope. And see, this time I did it again, much better. Look, this time that line didn't disappear and this line didn't disappear because I didn't grab such a big shape. And now I got a little bit of weirdness left over here. I do it again, right? Until it kind of disappears. But this is working much better than the first time. Enough that if I want to see this picture now without that person, I think that's more than good enough. I would even print that. It's not perfect, but for this not being Photoshop, that's pretty amazing. So now if I'm happy, one thing I forgot to show you is that there's this little magic button here that if you don't know to make this lighter, darker, or whatever, you can click on this and see what the computer thinks. I'm going to click on that. And that's what the computer did. I'm going to turn it off. See how it lightened it a little bit? And I like it better. So if you're not sure, that helps. If not, you just do individually. I'll do that one and see it moved things slightly, and that's a bit better. Then let's see if there's any fix for that one. So I'm using the autos, and if I think it's good or not, that kind of helps, et cetera, right? You can go ahead and try that. And then ultimately, this is my before and my after. The biggest change here, of course, is this guy missing. But if you look at the color, it actually, the trees are a little bit greener. Everything's looking a little bit better. You can also add some sharpness. I can go over here and say that I want it to be a little bit sharper. And this one you have to be careful because many times if you sharpen it too much, it's fake. And if the photo is really out of focus, this won't fix it. This is just a kind of enhancement. For those of you who've taken my Photoshop classes and knew about curves or levels, then here you have curves or levels, but this is too technical to even attempt right here. But those of you who know that, then you can go ahead and do a little bit of work with this in here. And I'm not going to bother to explain it to everyone because, that's a whole nother technical explanation for those two. But I do teach that kind of stuff in Focus and in my Photoshop class. All right, maybe I want a little vignette so that it kind of darkens the edges. Next thing I know, by the time I'm done, that's the before, this is the after. That's the before, This is the after. I kind of like it quite a bit better. I'm seeing a bit of texture on the sky, which before was all white. I'm seeing a bit of the shape of the cloud. That guy is gone. This is a bit brighter. Maybe I'll give him a little bit more color there. I've a bit more color. Now that's the before and after. Before, after, before, after. I think it's quite a bit better. That's a before and after. Don't forget that I'm projecting this through your screen, and what I am seeing might not be what you're seeing. So you have to just base it on what your computer is telling you is better. I'm going to go ahead and say that I love it this way. I can even put it in my favorites right there with a heart, right? And then I can say done. 1 second, I see there's a question. And when I back out, just to answer Yolanda's question, here's how you duplicate. You right click and you say duplicate one photo. Okay. And that's if you want to have two versions of this. One where maybe it's, here, let me do that. I want to, say that I want to duplicate this photo. It comes in with all of its corrections. And now the second one, I'm going to edit and I'm going to crop. And what I want is this one to be like that, because I'm going to put it in a different place. And so I'm going to make it smaller like that. I'm basically cutting the bottom of his body off, but that's okay because that's just how it has to be. Both are correct, but I wanted to focus a bit more on the gait and less on all the legs and the people. So when I say done and I go back, I have this version and this version of the same photo. And I might like the full body, or I might like more the Berkeley gait, right? All right. Julie.
Rock. This is amazing. Thank you.
You're welcome. Julie?
When you were doing the correction where you made the circle or you made a line, what did you do next to get rid of that from the photograph?
When you said the circle of the line? Oh,
yeah.
I reset it. So I went over here. Let me go to another one. Say that over here. If I edit this, if I go to and now let me close things up a little bit.
Yeah.
Let me close things up a little bit. If I go to retouch, right? And I get rid of this, I'm going to make this a bit bigger. Say I get rid of that.
Right.
Right?
Then what?
And I wait until it gets rid of. And if I don't like that, I just went to this tiny little arrow that's the backwards, the undo arrow of just this feature and click undo, and it came back. You see that?
Okay, so when I do it on mine, then I move my cursor away from the correction?
It doesn't matter. Once you do this.
Oh, I see.
And you're
Yes,
done.
it worked.
The cursor doesn't matter where it is. I went to undo, and that's why my cursor moved away, because I had to click on undo. And that's why it moves the cursor away. It's not about the cursor, it's about hitting that little tiny backwards arrow to undo that change.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
And this one is an example of, in a bad way, because it's not going to look right. But say that I were to want to unskew this picture. This is really going to be like there. I make it a bit vertical and horizontal kind of thing. I can do my best to kind of bring this person back in. It's not ideal. Plus, it doesn't let me go further to the left unless I make it a bit smaller. But see, anyway, this is not ideal, but it's an example for now of what this kind of thing could do if you had something that you really, really, truly needed to. Part of it will still be distorted, but then if I maybe cut down like that, whatever. I'm just gonna say no. I'm gonna say undo that, revert to original. But anyway, that's a bit of an example of what you can do. It's really good to enhance things like sunsets. Look at this one. This one is a pretty cool one because it's a perfect example. Sunsets and stuff like that. If I lighten it, because this is kind of dark, I'll see a better green. But my sunset begins to get washed out. See how nice green this is and the board? But if I darken everything and the sunset gets more enhanced, then this goes really dark. So this is the perfect example of when we can open the options here. And undo that. And then here I can just make my lighter stuff lighter and my dark, this stuff darker and this lighter. So this is the shadows, and I'm going to exaggerate. I'm going to make the shadows area much lighter. Look at that, much lighter. But then the sunset, I would like to make it a bit darker. So I'm going over here to brilliance, maybe not in this case, maybe brightness, my highlights a little bit darker. And then I'm going to look at my before and after now, there to there. Look at what a difference I did. If my goal was to see the whole landscape, if my goal was only to see that, then fine, keep it darker because you just want to look at the light. But this is a better overall picture. Does that make sense?
Yes.
The
Is that Moonstone Beach?
Yes, it is Moonstone Beach. Yeah. It's a beautiful area, isn't it? So, so now I'll say done. Oh, the only one I haven't shown you yet is filters. Crop and adjust are the good ones. Filters, it's kind of funky. You can go ahead and have it do choices that it just puts on everything, and you might like it and not have to do any more, right? I prefer to do the changes myself, but some of you guys might always like everything to be very vivid, whatever, and you just change it with those. If you like filters, you can download so many filters online and put more in here, and it'll make things look cartoonish, and it'll make things look like paintings, you know, that those are a bit more fun. But these, yeah, I'd rather just do it myself over here. But anyway, that's what these things are. So now I'm going to say that that's better, and I'm going to look at the before and after, there before, now after, there before, now after. Again, this isn't a photo of just the sunset. This was a photo of that space. Then this is better. If all I cared about was the sunset, then that was fine. I wanted to see the whole thing. So it's a choice of what you're trying to show. What are you trying to say with this photo? That really makes a difference. So what story are you trying to tell really matters. And then I'm not seeing a hand up, so I'm going to continue with another one. I'm going to go with this one. And I'm trying to find one. I'm not finding one that I did with portrait. Let me go to the media here. Portrait taken pictures, which are photos that you've actually taken with the portrait mode, should technically, let me see, give me one other editing availability, and I'm not seeing it up here today. Why is it not showing it to me? You can change the focus. Why am I not seeing that? Huh. There's a, is that it? No. Where's the, anyone else who's in portrait mode? There's a, you should be able to switch this around to make it more or less focus. Oh, there, this one's doing it. How funny, the other one didn't. So here's a photo taken in portrait mode in my camera, right? So the word portrait pops on up there. I'm going to open it up. And basically I can choose how much depth or blur to give to this photo, from really blurred. It's very automatic. The computer decides what's the most important focus, what's the subject. And then as I do this, I can begin to blur the background a bit. See that? And just like that. And if I decide, so look at this, I've decided that that's the computer decided that's what's in focus. I'm going to forcefully make everything really, really out of focus. But then what if I preferred this one to be the ones in focus? I just click here. Now this one in focus, or this one is the focus, and everything else gets out of focus. See how everything else went out of focus and this one went into focus. So the computer chose that. But what if I wanted that to be the focus? Now I'm forcefully making everything really soft, so it looks kind of weird because this wouldn't be normal, but that would be the way to add more or less focus to the background, and then changing what point of focus you would prefer it to have. I'm going to go ahead and reset this to go back to 0. And I'm going to say done. And then down here, I'm going to find another one. I'm not sure why that was. Let me see this one. I'm going to edit, and maybe I want to show you how this is a very far off landscape picture. And no matter how much we go from right to left, see how there's not much change? It's because a landscape is taken at the highest level of depth and you can't change that, versus I'm going to go to one that was taken as a very close up. Maybe this one, maybe this, I don't know. Let me try this one. If I go to this one has some background and a very close up. So this one should, no, yeah. So look at that. I could put everything. I actually like those clouds, so I don't want that. But see how I was able to make everything disappear and just this be in focus, or everything up here, or somewhere in the middle. I can have that be a little bit more focused if the point. Now, I actually took this one because I like the clouds. So this one would not be where I'd go, but that is a possibility. And what if instead of the people, I would want the clouds to be in focus? Now I click over there and now the clouds got in focus and it put me out of focus. You see that? Yeah, that's me with my bike helmet. So anyway, so that's an example, but this was taken with a portrait mode, focusing on something up close. So that kind of worked, versus this one where everything, it was in portrait mode, but everything is really in focus. No matter how much I move this up and down, you know, there's no way there has to be a difference in planes, and I can't tell you all the bike theory right now. So anything that you go like this one has very close focus. And if I go to the adjust, see, this is why I don't know why this one, I think because I went so far already in the adjustment that it doesn't let me go backwards, or I might have texted this one to myself. I'm not sure, because this one doesn't give me the adjustment tools, which is kind of weird. Last one, I think this is close enough to do that. I'm not sure, it might be. Let me see if I go down. Yeah, see how it blurred that? I'm going to put this person in focus and all of that disappeared, which again, isn't the point of this photo because I really like those mountains, but I can go in and out and somewhere in between. And this worked when there's something really distracting in the background. This wasn't, this was the whole point. Look at where we're biking. That's Aspen over there. This was like, I wouldn't want to get rid of it. But when it's something distracting, I don't know that I have. So over here, these pots, I tried to take a picture of this and there was a lot going on in the background, right? So let me double click. So in this one, oh, I did it in the there it is. Now, look at the difference between doing that. See how there's just lines and stuff and red, and versus doing this. This kind of helps me focus on just the pot. Does that make sense? So in this case, this is better. But if I go too crazy, then the blur starts to go into the pot. But I can change the focus from there to there, to there, to there. And now I've kind of managed to get the focus a little bit more centered onto the thing. And I back off a little bit on the background. And then it doesn't matter to me. But if with this off, that would have been harder to focus on the pot. Okay. So this is the perfect example of when you might want to have this somewhere middling-ish, might be better. Okay. I see two hands. Bob?
Yeah, I can't seem to find depth on my, like what you were doing.
Okay, so two things. You need to have taken the in portrait mode and have a foreground and a background in your photo. That makes sense. And B, you need to have Sonoma, and your so, and your phone has to been pretty relatively new, because the portrait mode before you could only handle when you were taking the picture, not in editing. So if all of that still applies, then go ahead and you can share your screen and see if I can figure it out for
I
you.
actually did find depth on one of my, so just let me share my screen.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop the share. Yep.
So, yeah. So
Well,
here,
this is this is the landscape, see? So even though you have a depth feature, it won't, go ahead and try, grab it and move it to the left or to the right, and you'll see that since it's not gonna change it too much,
okay,
right? Because landscape are meant to kind of stay in focus. Had you a little tree or a bush in front, then it would give you, so the photo needs to have something that it's in two different planes, so to say, so that it can focus on one and unfocus the other. But a landscape wouldn't fit that purpose. Does that make sense?
yes, it does.
It's kind of like the one that I showed you with the bike in the background. That no matter how much I moved the depth, just nothing happened because everything is in focus. So go find one where you have front and back, like the bike with the mountain behind that, or that one would work. So go back to your portrait photos.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, down there you have media types a bit under.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you need to double click on your portrait photos, and in this case, yeah, that would work. So double click on that one. And now go to edit. And now go ahead and first, why don't you just fix the color of this one a little bit? Go to that little magic, no, not that in the color, I'm sorry, like go all the way to the very top and click on this little guy, which is like the magic wand, and see, it probably will do. There, it lit it a little bit. Okay, just now move this one around, and this time there should be a difference between, so now go all the way to the farthest to see the big difference. No, to the left. That puts it all in focus. Now go all the way to the left, far to the left.
Oh, yeah, wow.
Far to the left. Keep going. And then look at the image now. And with your mouse, put your mouse over the image now. And right now it's focusing on your face. Click on your face. Right? Click. Now click on the background. Oh, yours doesn't have the change focus box that mine did.
Okay.
It's not letting you go and click on the background. Mine did that. You know how I did that? I clicked around and it showed me different focus. Yours doesn't have that feature. And I don't know if it's a feature of having taken the photo with the newer or worse camera, but now move it all the way to the farthest right and you'll quickly see how now this is all sharp. And now move it all the way to the back so people can see it. It's not as intensely. And then see how that blurred out, you guys?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the background.
Taken with an iPhone 10.
Yep. All right. So, but see the difference. There's a foreground and a background for it to do that versus the other one was all, let's call it all background with no foreground, then it couldn't figure it out.
Isn't that called bokeh?
No, bokeh is totally different. Bokeh is, you need lights, you need some shine. Let me see if I have one in here, and I can do that with other apps. I don't know if this can do bokeh. Let me see if I have any photos here that have lights. None of this seems, I don't seem to have any lights here. No, I have photos but I didn't upload any here. If you have something that has shiny lights and you do this to the thing, then this is not a bright, it has to be a bright spot, so this wouldn't be it. See, oh, this is for an example. That kind of, see that kind of distorted shine down there? That's a tiny idea of what bokeh is. And in this case, see how those, take a picture of a Christmas tree and you'll be able to do that. Because see those tiny little dots over there, the red dots?
Yeah.
Look what happens when I move them over. See how they begin to be like little red dots?
Yeah.
That's a little bit more what the bokeh effect is like. They turn into that. But with lights, it shows up really well. With this, it's not. It just looks like out of focus. But this is a perfect example of this is staying in perfect focus, and then the rest is blurring out. because there is a original photo was already taken, see, with the close depth of field. When I approached this kind of as a macro, the rest went dark. And so then I have a real difference between one or the other. Okay. All right. Let me show you a few other options. Oh, no, I see another hand, Rebecca.
I'm not able to change the portraits of photos that have been texted to me or emailed to me.
No. Yeah, it has to be taken by yourself in portrait mode on an iPhone. And it's a mode that your iPhone does. And this just as when you text or email something, it loses all of the qualities of location and data. It also loses the ability to do that kind of editing. Okay. If someone transfers the file to you, like the actual file, and you enter the file, import the file, then you can treat it as yours, but not anything that's been transferred through text or email, it won't attach. That won't do it. Okay. I think this is another perfect example of foreground. Look at this is
Wow.
look at how busy this photo is. This is we're camping. That's as our table. We put a little, that's, yeah, you can't focus. This is a perfect example of blurring the background, and to the point of I'm going to the extremes where now it just looks like a photo of this flower, but it's kind of losing some of the flower too. So maybe there's some place right there where it's like you don't even think about the background. When I first showed it to you, it just looked like a flower. It took me doing that for you to go, oh, that's what it is. So this is just enough to focus only on the flower and not on the rest. Say done. That's much better, right? If that was the intention, if the intention was to focus on the flower. All right. There's color. I'm going to open this one. I'm going to edit this one. I want to move on to something else. We have a few more minutes. So this again, from that to that, what a difference, right? But somewhere in the middle is the thing. But I wanted also to go in to just color. You can saturate to the point of ridiculousness or take the away, or you can enhance. But that is not actually the place that I'm looking for. Rather, what if I want to change this red to something else? And this is pushing it a little bit, but say that I want this photo to really change color. So I'm not giving it yellow or pink or blue. See that? It's this now we're not talking reality. We're really changing the reds are going over all over the place. Does that make sense? So that's a selective color. And then you can say, I only want to change my reds. So I want the green to stay green, everything else to change green. So only the red, but see how that hasn't changed? But there's some red down there. So that one's changing too. I'm going to say, I only want to change my greens. My red will stay the same, but look at the green now. The green in the background is going yellow or blue. See that? But the red is staying the same. So sometimes you want to enhance the color of the green of an image. Let me say done and bring up a photo where the green was a little bit, the photo that we did earlier today, the portrait, where was it? I had it in to be edited, I believe, this one. When I uncropped it, let me revert to original. See these trees? Say that just to focus on it. Let me say that this is a picture of that. Let me say that that's what we're doing. See how that is a very dark, beyond having to darken or lighten it, I can just say, let me target the greens and then see how my trees are going from kind of blue to orange or something like that. But I can also saturate it and give a little bit more tone to the green, down and the left. And I can just basically, if I look at the before and after, oh, I did a reset. Sorry, I shouldn't have done it before and after. Let me saturate. Let me be very, very obviously different here. And then as before and after, look at what's happening down there to that green. And I wouldn't say that that's correct, but I'm just trying to show you how I can affect those tones. If I go to the red now, this is a mix. This is kind of orangey, so it's red and yellow. So when I change that, it's gonna change enough. Or if I go to the yellow, that should also change a little bit, right? Look at my green, how it's changing because there's a lot of yellow in that green. And I'm gonna make the color different. Now I'm making it, I don't know, like whatever green, kind of bizarre green. Right. So anyway, sometimes this isn't about doing this, who cares about this, but it's more about, I'm gonna revert to original, but it's more about enhancing. If you're in this, say that this is a landscape, right? And this is supposed to be green, but and filtered through the sky, through all the different things that it has, maybe this would be something that, first of all, I might want to enhance the color a little bit. So I'm enhancing it, I'm saturating it. So this is the before and the after. See how I enhanced it? But then I might want to go over here to the yellow and then just bring the yellow down a little bit and the green up a little bit. So now that looks less dry, right? And it looks a little bit more green. So by the time I do the before and after, see how now it looks a bit more alive? I can take a bit more yellow off. I'm going to make the yellow go a bit greener. And now that's the before and after. Before and after. You don't see, I'm looking at the projection and it's not looking so so intense, the change, but yeah, I am definitely going, it's changing before and after. That's the brown and that's after, and include even the sky. Let me go to the blue sky and let me saturate the blue sky. The only problem with saturating the blue is that there's also blue here on the reflection. So although that got bluer, this also did, and that begins to look a little bit fake. So you need to be careful with that, right? But anyway, that said, now I'm going to make the sky, the ocean cerulean blue, certainly not Santa Barbara blue, like we're landing in some island here if you do that in the in Greece or in the Caribbean. It's not Santa Barbara. I don't know actually where this is. I don't remember where this was taken. In fact, let's see if it has location information. I don't know. Does this have location information? Yeah, it's taken almost landing in LAX. So yeah, if that's true, this is definitely not not our ocean. Does that make sense? There's no way our ocean doesn't look like that. There are places where our ocean looks a bit more like that, but there you go.
It looks like Florida.
What's that?
Florida.
It looks like Florida. It looks like other places, but that's why it's good that I had the location information. Yep, definitely LAX. That's why this was brown instead of green, and that's why this was kind of, hazy instead of, So anyway, so now when I leave and I go, that's what I leave it with. So if I do want to undo that, I could not open and undo and all of that. I could just go over here, right click. Now I've left the edit mode. I just go, ooh, that looks really fake, for knowing that it's from LA. So I'm going to right click and I can just say revert to original, like get rid of this, get rid of these changes. Boom. And now it's back to being the good old LA green. Did you see that? And now, but they're gone now. Now they're truly gone. I have to open it, but again, if I want to make this work. Okay. Yeah. Oh, I think this is an example of the slow-mo. Did I ever play you this one? Let's see. I have it. We're going to do videos next week. I'm looking at my time. I always think that's so cool that just a phone can do that. Before that would have been technology-wise, you would have had to do so much stuff. Certain things have really changed. All right.
Is there a timeline on the thing you just did a moment ago with reverting back? With the
No, if you want to, once you revert and take away the changes, you have to start from zero again. If you're in,
I mean, from when you modified it to coming back in, is there a timeline?
Oh no, never. It's always editable forever and ever and ever. Yeah, completely. if I modified this to make it be, I don't know, let's say like that. I'm just being really extreme, something that's very extreme. Say I do that to it. I can come back today, tomorrow, in 10 years, undo that, edit that, and then just revert it back or keep adjusting it. Like it's completely, you can just revert to the original no matter when. It doesn't matter. It's just, this is all done in the background in the metadata, and it's just code that's making the green greener, whatever. So the pixels themselves are not changing. So this is not a, it's not a destructive modification ever. So you can always go back tomorrow, the day after, in 2 months.
And then is there like an opposite, like Peter Max or whatever, you know, is there a button that does the fluorescent-y? Sometimes people do that in art, you
Do
know.
what?
and-
Oh, yeah, that would be in filters, and of course, definitely in Photoshop. And there's many other apps that do that. Here, you would have to go and download some filters, which would, there's filters, you
Okay.
could just download them. You can look for photo app photo filters and upload them. And then you can just click on this and the whole thing would turn into like duotones or colors. There's just a whole bunch of
Got it.
stuff.
Got it.
Other than that, that's like, you'll live with what they give you. Versus if that's something you're trying to do, then definitely take my my Photoshop classes, because you can do that by hand,
Okay.
or Illustrator. You can do that really well in those kind of things, in those for more professional apps. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. I want you guys to attempt, here's what I want as homework for next week. I'm going to show you something else before we go though, so don't leave yet, but I want to make sure that you know that by next week, I want you guys to have edited at least 5 photos, different than the ones that you edited today. Ideally, one with darkness, one with light, with color, one with cropping and straightening, you know, like try different things, go crazy and make these trees red instead of green. It doesn't matter. You can then undo them, but I want you to try things out again, because then you'll get the question. I didn't show you, look at this one just really quickly. This one is interesting because when you edit this one, you can make some big changes based on, look at how hazy that looks versus where was it here? I remember I did this once. Maybe that was in Photoshop. Maybe here it's all kind of, yeah, here it just goes dark. Yeah, in Photoshop. This one in two. Yeah, this is going gray. There's this is no, okay, so over here it doesn't work as well as I was saying. If I lighten the whole thing and I just darken the black point. Anyway, I managed a really cool effect on this one, but it probably was in Photoshop. But anyway, that said, look at the before and after. But yeah, this doesn't matter. I'm just gonna revert. I made a really cool photo out of this, but I think I needed a little bit because this one is a raw image. Those of you who take my Photoshop classes, opening it up in Photoshop, I can manipulate this to the point that I can have these perfect streaks in the, I mean, it's great, but yeah, you need something a bit more professional. Okay. Let's go down to the last thing I haven't shown you before we do videos. By the way, very important. For next week, we're doing videos. If you haven't taken any videos ever, and you don't have any videos to work with, please do some videos. We need videos in here for next week. Now, I'm going to show you some projects today, right now, some slideshows, but let me show you something. If you want to just do a video here and there, just take a picture of your dog running to, video of your dog running, make them relatively short. Don't do a 2-minute video. Make them, 10 seconds, 20 seconds. If you're going to do a video of like stand around in the middle of your garden and or house or street and do like this and then show your block. Just try to keep the videos short. And if what you want to do is a story, doesn't matter. We're going to put together whatever clips you have. But say that you have you visited Paris and you took 10 videos of different stuff. We can clip them together to make a little, 30-second video of all different bits of videos from Paris. And then you have some cool photos. We can put the photos in there as well. But if all you have is a photo of your dog, then a video of your dog, then you have a video in the beach. No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't need to be an actual story. I'm going to show you the tools and then you decide what to do with it. So you need to take at least 5 videos, have available 5 videos so that we can edit some. And maybe some will be 30 seconds when all we're going to need is 10 seconds of it. So make some that are a little bit longer. If they are videos that don't matter at all, after class, you can delete them. You don't want to keep old videos that mean nothing to you because videos do take time. But just between here and next class, do some videos with your phone camera. All right. And what I wanted to show you right now is at the very, very bottom, which says my projects. So I'm going to open my projects. And this is a place where you can do slideshows. Now, when I say slideshows, slideshows can also include videos, not just photos. And the video editing that we're going to do next week has to do with using the iMovie app. Oh, I forgot to say, you need to download the iMovie app. Anyone who doesn't know if they have the iMovie app, if you can stay a little bit longer today, I'm going to help you download it so it's ready for next week. If you know you have iMovie, you can go. But those of you who are like, what's iMovie? I have no idea. It's free. It's an Apple app, but some computers don't have it automatically, or you might have gotten rid of it. So then I'm going to help you download it. Okay, so stay a little bit later. And people on PCs, you don't have iMovie, you'll have to do it on the phone. Oh, wait, before I go into slideshows, I haven't shown you all this editing on the phone. I'm sorry. That is so important. So let me actually stop this share. I was just, you can do basically everything I just showed you. Not everything, but a lot of what I just showed you that you can do on the phone. So I need to move over to my phone photos, phone editing. So I'm in my library and say that I want to edit, I don't know, something I haven't edited yet. I've been, eesh. Give me a photo to edit. Well, here, we just did that one. So let's go ahead and it's the same one that I did before, but I had taken the editing off. Once I select it, then over here you have the edit. Click on edit on your phone. I'm going to show you this too so that we can compare the kind of things we did. So here's my edit on the phone. First of all, since it was a portrait, right here, it was an original portrait image that I had taken with the portrait feature. So down here, it can already give me I'm sliding with my finger here. I'm moving to the left, giving everything in focus, or to the right, putting everything behind it out of focus. So I'm just doing that with my finger, and I'm having, right, to see how much background I want. So that would be available if this is a portrait photo. If not, it wouldn't be available. All right. So that one, for some people work, for some people it doesn't, depending if you have portrait photos taken. And if you're not sure, remember, you can go down to, let me cancel, you can go down to your albums, discard changes. You can go to your albums. Remember, when you go back out, go to your albums and then go down to your portrait album there, and you can for sure find some portraits here that you can adjust. Anyway, since I already did that, where's the photo I was just working on? Let me just open this one again. Here, this one's quite stark, so I'm going to do this one. Edit. Actually, the other one was better because of the position. It's straight up and you show it a bit better on the phone. There we go. Now, that's it for the depth. Now, if it's not a portrait, this won't even exist. All you will have is these 3. So I'm going to hit the crop. This is the same tools we had before. I can crop in or out. I can do whatever I want. And then here's my skewing. I can, this one's straightening. This one didn't need straightening, but that's what this one is. And then this is my, if I choose this one, it's skewing forward or backwards. This one again doesn't need skewing. And this one is horizontal. So try it with a house with a picture of in a landscape of a farmhouse, something like that. So I'm going to reset that. And then now let's go to adjust. So I'm going to adjust. And here is where you have all the things that we just did under light and whatever. Here's first of all the automatic little wand, and the computer did that. And if I like it, great. And if I don't like it, I turn it off again. Then let's move over to the next one, exposure. Click on exposure, and then it lets you go all darker or all lighter. Okay, it's the one that's the generic. I'm going to put it, I am always centering it. See that little dot there? That's the center. So I'm going to center it. Here's contrast. Stuff that is light goes lighter, stuff that's dark goes darker. Right? So now here I can make a lot of very dark stuff. There, that's beginning to look a little bit like bokeh. Robert, I think you're the one who asked, right, Bob?
Yeah.
Anyways, keep going back. Then that's the highlights. Now I'm only changing my lighter tones. Okay, so it's just on or off. You don't have all the individual, but here's the highlights, shadows. So this is equivalent to all those adjustments. So contrast, brightness, black point, all the ones that we had at first. Okay, so that's what this one is. And then we get to the colors, saturation, make this be neon or not. Keep bringing it down to minute, vibrance. So it only dark lightens it, but not so crazy like saturation. Warmth, temperature, blue or green, right? So basically almost everything that we saw there, I'm going to keep going, sharpness, vignette, definition, give it a little vignette on the edges and the corners. So basically those are all the choices that you have, which is a lot of choices, okay, on your photo. So you can fix photos on the fly on your phone or the iPad. And then the filters, again, I might not want to do any of those changes myself, and I can just flip through different filters that give me different effects. And if I like one of those more than, it's basically a combination of everything I showed you by hand. If you like that one, you just sit in that one. If you prefer that one, you sit in that one, and there you go. That's the change. So it's just settings of everything we did before. All right, I'm going to say done because I left it at 0, so there's not much change in this one. And there you go. That's how you do editing on your phone. Okay, so select the photo and then edit. And then all the tools pop in. This one is not a portrait photo, so the portrait features here don't appear. Okay, cancel, and we're done. Actually, no, that's not true. I'm sorry. This is a portrait photo. See how it says portrait? But this was taken in 2021. It's an old camera. And the photo, although it was taken in portrait mode, I was able to adjust that in the camera at that time in 2021 with my old camera. See how I did make the background blurrier than the front, but that was in camera. But that photo doesn't have the features for me now to be edited and do the changes of depth, because the settings wouldn't allow for it on a photo that's older, that was taken with an older camera. Not only because it's 2021, I could have had a really new camera in 2021. I didn't. I had an older camera. So although I did it in camera, that out of focus and focus is because I did the work in camera. It allowed me to do that with the portrait mode. It doesn't allow me to edit it here in the app. It doesn't turn on those features. Okay. All right. Looking at the time, I was hoping to show you. I just have a couple more minutes. Give me a couple of seconds for the slideshow, and then I want to make sure that everyone who has iMovie, so that next week we don't have to start the class getting iMovie for those who don't have it. So here's my projects, okay? And when you go to my projects right now, I have 3 existing slideshows I did at some point. This one has 4 photos, this one has 8, this has 5, but this also includes videos. So let me show you, for example, this one, it's just 4 photos, so it's really quick. It has a title, right? And when I press play, I don't think you guys hear the sound, do you?
No.
Okay. Let me um let me turn this off so you hear the ambient sound. Let's see now. Do you see that ambient sound?
Yeah.
Did you hear any music in the background? It doesn't need to be perfect because it's coming kind of far off. When you do that, you'll hear your own sound. What this is a pretty automatic version of the computer putting two things and throwing it together. This one, on the other hand, it's not just photos. Here's each one, but I also included a video. So it's a slideshow, but these are all video bits, and we're going to see this one next week. Each one of these is a video. Little clips of videos that I put together as supposedly a slideshow, and yet what it ends up making is basically a video, right? So
We hear something but don't see anything.
So this is a still photo in the middle of it. Here's again a video, right? So I'm going to stop this. So you can make a bit of a video by collecting different clips in here. So it's the way to make a longer video in the photos.
We didn't see your example.
Oh. Someone should have spoken earlier when I'm saying see. Okay. So did you see the solstice parade one? None. All this time I've been speaking to my ARG. Okay. So this one is just photos. So I'm going to run this one. And it shows you, I'm only a portion of the screen, but this one has like an effect and it's putting together some photos. So this is an actual typical slideshow. Go ahead and start it. This one, instead, this one was made out of videos. So this is a way to make a video out of the photos. Together video. So this is photo that is going to fix together. I'm going to go ahead and stop that for a second. And then the other one is just a typical just photos. There's back and forth and another photo. And right now these are going a bit slowly, but it can go a little bit faster. Anyway, so this is. So how do you make these? And again, I know that we're 3 minutes away, so this is quick. You can either select your photos first, like an album, same as an album. You either select your photos first, or you make your slideshow first. Let me say that I'm going to do photos. I'm going to go to one of my albums, because let me go to textures, whatever. Say that I go to this one. This is a little bit weird because I have vertical and horizontal.
It's hard to hear you now.
Oh, let me put the headset. Now you can hear me again?
It's
okay.
still low.
So now you should be able to hear me well. Yeah? Okay. So now I'm going to choose I don't know, one of the many albums. I don't have that many. How many photos do I have in here? Okay, so I'm going to make a little video of these, okay? A little slideshow of these four. So if I first select them, then when I go to my projects and press plus and say slideshow, which is the very bottom with my photos, it says, what do you want to call it? The album was called Self-Lit Trips. So it says that, and I'll say new slideshow. Yeah. And I'll say, okay. If they're in the cloud, it needs to download them. And here we go. That was as quick as it took to put these things together and make it into a slideshow, right? And if, oh, my Photos app just crashed. I was putting it Yeah. Let me share again. So here's my Southwest trip. And I can go ahead and like, if I just doing nothing else, I can play this. And this has been made for me. That's how easy it was. But what if I want to change the order of my slides and I want this one to be in front? I can do that. Or these are made with raw photos, so the computer's having a bit of a trouble because I'm in Zoom and these are very big photos. I can just take one. Let me go over here, which is easier. Let me say that I want this one to be in front. I can move it around. This one in the back. Make this one be the beginning instead of the other one. Like you can just play around with stuff like that. You can also play around with the time, and you can change a different theme, and you might want to have it be with sliding panels, for example. And so then when you play, actually, I'll just say preview, so it does it in here. It's like, so it has those, so it's just different themes. I can say reflections, and I can tell it to be shorter, to go ahead and go a little bit faster or a little bit slower. I'm going to make it go as fast as it can. And then I'm going to do this little preview. Well, so that one only had 4 slides, so, you know, but let me do it to this one. You can change over here the theme. This was vintage and it put all those things in. What if I say origami? And then I say preview. Then it's right. What if I say reflections? Preview. It's giving me a little reflection down here. I'm going to stop the preview. So you guys can't hear the music because of the headsets, but I can also choose what music I want it to have. I can change the music it has. I can go to my music library. I can just, you know, change other stuff. Otherwise, these themes come with a certain sound. Each one has a different music that you choose. And again, you can modify the order of the events, and all this background is given to you. So I want you all to make at least with this mini primer, because I'm 1 minute past the time, with this mini primer, I want you guys to make one. And remember, I selected them, and what if I want to add another one to this? So say I go over to my photos and I go, you know what? I want to add to this Southwest trip, I want to add this photo, and I just drag it in and say plus. There we go. Like I did with albums. And that one, this isn't the Southwest, but anyway, I'm adding some photos. So I just added 3. I could add 3 at a time, by the way. And I go there. And so now this is it. These photos have been added to my slideshow. And if I want this one to be at the beginning, I can just drag it up and tell it, I want this to be my main. So now that begins, and this is definitely not the Southwest, it's Washington, but I'm just showing you possibilities. I can move things around, and then I can say, you know what? I don't really want this photo in the album. I'll hit delete. And it deleted it. Or I can right click and I can delete this slide. I'm not deleting the photo. I just don't think it's appropriate for this album. Right? So you can keep adding and taking away. And I'm going to put that one under Southwest Trip. And that doesn't match at all, but that's the title of my Southwest Trip now. So I better move it out and get rid of that again. And if I want to change the name, instead of calling this one Southwest Trip, I can go over here to the first one. I can just click in here and call this one Wonderful Trip, right? So it's up to you to, and I'm going to undo that and have it be again Southwest Trips, but you can change so much about this stuff, okay? So play around, make at least one little slideshow with 5 photos. And remember, you can either first make the slideshow that's empty, right? And then put in the photos, or you can first select the photos and then click the plus sign slideshow, and it just kind of sets it up for you all in one. All right. Homework. Edit some photos, at least 5. make at least one slideshow with a few photos, and make sure to take some videos so that we can use videos to play around with making clips and a story. Okay, that's your homework. Now, class is technically over, but what I need is to make sure that everyone has iMovie. So if you know you have it, you can leave. If you don't know if you have it, I'm going to show you how to find out. I'm going to check my entire screen, and there's so many different ways. The easiest way is to open a Finder window, right? So this is a Finder window, and I'm going to share just my Finder window. And then over here on the sidebar, I'm going to check for applications. The app is called iMovie, so by alphabetical order, I can go over here, and if I see this word that says iMovie with a little star, then that means you have it. So click on applications. These are all your applications. That means you have it. If between I and K or whatever, the I, you're not seeing it, then give me a no. Once you have it, give me a yes. So yes, if you have it, no, if you don't have it. And then if you don't have it, I'll help you set it up. But I want everyone to have it by next week. So I'm not seeing yeses or nos. I guess people who are yes are leaving. If you don't have it, give me a no. So if you have it and all is good, then you're ready to leave. Anyone here who doesn't have it, I can help you get it. Yolanda, I know you have it, but and Jackie.
I know I have it. I just don't know where to click it. You said
Okay. So I just opened a Finder window.
The Finder
right?
window, the one with the two faces.
Yeah, the two faces, yep. And then I'm going to click here on the word applications on the left side of my sidebar.
On the left side of your
where you see documents and clouds and Rezix, check on applications.
I see it. This is I don't really.
Go ahead and share your screen. I
Okay.
believe that we've done this before with you, so I'm pretty sure you have it. Okay, so over here on the left side, you have to scroll up, click.
Side.
Yeah. And then, under your favorites is closed. Go to the top where you see the little word favorites.
Favorites.
Yeah,
right.
click on that arrow. Yeah. Yeah. And then click on applications.
Okay, got
And
it.
now under the eye, scroll down, and yeah, I can see under the image capture. I'm sure you'll see it. It's a little bit under the eye, so down, down, down.
Image capture.
There it is, iMovie.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
So you're good. You have it.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Tamara and Jackie then. Tamara.
Okay, so I have I don't have a Mac. So what do I?
Nothing. Then you can only do the example of what I showed you today, that I'll spend more time on it tomorrow to make a video. Do you have an iPad though?
I have an iPad.
Then maybe you can download iMovie on your iPad, maybe on your iPhone. Yeah. So I told people tomorrow, I wish I'd said that to everyone who is a PC. This is definitely on your iPad. You have iMovie for your iPad. You can do this on your iPad.
Okay.
And on your phone, only it's so tiny, it's harder, but yeah, you can do it on your phone too.
Okay.
So you're good. Just download it on your iPad.
Okay.
It's free. If you're an Apple person, it's free. Jackie? Oh,
Didn't
you found
think
it?
I had it, but I found it. So
okay, great. That means every now and then I'll find someone who doesn't. Elizabeth, same answer for you. If you don't have a Mac, which you don't, then I believe you have an iPad or an iPhone, right? You're muted, so I'm not sure if you're there. Maybe you already left. Anyway, anyone who has an iPad or an iPhone, it will work. You need to download the app, but that's quicker. I can show people how to download it if you didn't, not next week when we start working. All right. When I start the class, Tamara, remind me to tell PC people that they can do it on their phones and their pads. Because when today they asked me, I said, oh, if you don't have a Mac, you won't be able to do this. That was silly, because yes, you can. Because those of you who are here, it's because you have an iPad or an iPhone. All right. Okay, cool. So then I'll see you all on Tuesday, if not in between in some other class. Bye.
thank you.